Stay, I really wanna go, but I really need to know. Can we get it together? Get it together. Get it together. I really wanna go, I really wanna stay, but I really can we get it together? Get it together. You don't know the pain that I feel. You've taken my love for granted and you just wanna see it your way. Yeah, it's about that time.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Tell you what's on my mind. I'm fed up with you not being here with me. When you know love is all I need. I don't wanna stay.
Hey.
I don't want to go. I really need to know. Can we get it together? Can we get it? Yeah. And I don't wanna. I really wanna go. I really wanna stay. Don't want to stay.
Hey, Freaky Friday, man. Bye-bye.
Get it together. Let's get
What
it
we doing?
together, babe. I can't let go, 'cause being confused just takes control. I hope we can start brand new, 'cause I don't wanna lose you.
Talk to him.
Oh no, with
Hey,
the
y'all.
love we share, baby, it's so rare.
Hey, y'all, turn up. Hit the like button, man. Share the video out to y'all. Twitter, Instagram, you know, and all the rest of them, man. You know, Facebook, TikTok. Let's go.
I'm willing to try and make you see that
all
all you need is here in me. I don't want to stay. I don't want you to know how you feel. Let me know how you feel. I don't want to stay. Don't want to go. You gotta let me know just how you feel. Yeah, I don't wanna stay. No, no. I don't really wanna go, and I don't want to go.
Get it together.
Come on, babe, let's get it together. I really wanna go. I really hope and please, can we get it together? Come on.
Bring it, dig it, dig it, dig it, bring it, dig it, dig it. Black.
See, I'm so confused. I just don't know what to do. And I don't understand. No. You know I don't wanna stay. You know I don't wanna go. Baby, please
Talk to me.
listen to me. I don't wanna.
Yeah.
Don't wanna go. I really need to know. Can we get it?
Turn this bitch up, bitch.
Thinking that's saving you. Is the heart of a woman. Yeah. Question is why I do the things I do. Answer I may never find, but I'll always choose you. Wanna give up on you, but I know I can't. I put the blame on me for giving you chances to chance. I love what you can't stand. And I try to be strong, but how much can I put your words on your life this time? And I'll be like, only the city that is saving you is
Turn up, man. How y'all feeling, man? We right back at it, man. Yeah. Morning, noon, and the night. You dig? We right back like we left something. We right back like we left our phone, man. Diddy Boo Pussy Crew. You can choose, lose, you can stay confused. You are now rocking with the best of YouTube. Without a shadow of a doubt, man. Shit heating up. Oh yeah, I got the cut. Yeah, I can cam up now. I can cam up now. I'm handsome. Yeah, I'm hands off handsome right now. I ain't gonna care. I'm hands off handsome right now. I went and broke a switch off the tree. I said, I wish a motherfucker would run up on me today. I'm gonna tear them motherfucking legs up with this switch. Yeah, I keep a switch with me when I'm this handsome. You understand me? Nah, we're gonna turn up though, man. It's been rocking. Today ain't stopping. And I want to get right to it. Let me get this back. Yeah, I want to get right to it, man. I don't want to have y'all up late. You feel me? I don't want y'all up late. What's up with it, Talik? Turn it one time. Jaguars in the building. All right, we're going to start from the top to the bottom. Right? No. I guess not. So I cleared them all out. All right, we'll do this here for you. What is wrong with you, famo? Okay, we'll start here. We're going to Chi-Town. Chi-Town, where y'all at? The nerve of this guy, right? So they handle us, right? Nancy Pelosi. And then you got Pocahontas. Elizabeth Warren. And then you got Maxine Waters. I saw. So Charlemagne interviewed Jasmine Crockett, right? Charlemagne interviewed Jasmine Crockett. He asked her a question. He said, the older Democrats, Chuck Schumer, Maxine Waters, he like, why y'all keep letting them speak? And you know, he a jokester. So he like, I understand their position, why they want, you know, they're out of touch with this new generation. You know, they doing things the old way. Why they just don't let you guys get out and be the face? Well, she was kind of, you know, turned off by that question. Listen, Lil Mama is something else. I mean, when you get to touching M's, when you get to touching M's like that, you know, they're fast and the money's coming fast and you living, you really, really living. Say, man, don't disrespect me, man. You know, she ain't coming in humble. Oh, I gotta work to get myself where I'm going, I'm already there. And, you know, will she be one of the names get caught up in the espionage? I don't know. You got the Attorney General Bundy, and Bundy is on demon time. Can I get an amen? If y'all don't know Bundy, we're going to go through the other day about her. We're going to go through the other day about Bundy. She want that action. She said, we got a team. We ain't taking no for an answer. She just swore in Cash Patel. He's another hitter for them. He done been with them through the Obama administration, everything. He have a lot of info on a lot of people, the targets that need to be hit. He got a beef with who he beefing with? Boom, 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 boom. Where is it? Adam Schiff. Him and Adam Schiff. Nay. Big Dead. Dog Chief 305. I see you. Michelle in the building. Feather in the building. So, y'all make sure we got the lights going. Gonna get some people in the building. We're going to turn up anyway. So, right here, Mel Johnson. Some Mel. They get Lightfoot out of there. They move him in there. And they keep putting these black faces in place, right? Puppets. And he then ran the city dry. Chicago is a sanctuary city. He say he fighting for the rights of the illegals. He said they're not going anywhere. They're not bothering anybody. Fuck what the citizens of Chicago gotta say. Chicago is a pillar in what today is called the States. Back in the game, it was their own country. And they trying to hold their nuts like that too. But let's check him out.
For a one-on-one interview today talking about what the city is doing. And he made it clear that Chicago will not be intimidated by any threats of action from the Trump administration, even ones that could land him or the city in court. Mayor Brandon Johnson ready for wherever the battle may go over the rights of undocumented immigrants who are just minding their own business and going about their lives. What do you make of the fact that there have been no raids so far?
Well, first of all, let me just reaffirm our position as clearly as I possibly can, that we will always remain a welcoming and sanctuary space.
The mayor said he has no intelligence on when any raids by ICE agents could happen or how many people might be targeted, although sources have told ABC7 Homeland Security is going after dozens of people here in Chicago. The Trump DOJ seems to now have taken off the gloves by saying that they will pursue deportation targets in schools and churches. What is your response?
And I find that to be quite frank with you, I find that to be unconscionable and reprehensible.
A Department of Justice memo this week said those who impede immigration enforcement could be subject to prosecution. Do you believe that you could be targeted because of Chicago's welcoming city ordinance?
Well, look, my main focus is protecting the residents and the people of the city of Chicago. You know, the threats that are coming from this current administration are threats that we're not intimidated by.
U.S. attorneys' offices across the country have also been directed to review sanctuary laws and be prepared to challenge them in court if warranted. How is the city preparing to defend the welcoming city ordinance?
Yeah, so I've directed my corporate counsel to look at all of the executive orders that are coming from the current administration, and we will have a comprehensive response to each of those executive orders.
The mayor telling me the main objective at this moment is to ensure the safety of the people of Chicago, and Johnson says the city will stand up against what he called intimidation and fear-stoking coming from the Trump administration.
So they on his ass. They said they want to take legal action, and the Attorney General is not she is not on no type of BS. I don't like you. Y'all around here on that tough Tony shit. And now keep that same energy. Please. Keep it. It's yours. Keep it. Listen, fam, all they was waiting on their pieces to get in place. Why they ain't ran in Chicago and these other sanctuary cities? They were just waiting for their pieces. They got the attorney general. They just signed in Cash Patel, director of the FBI. Now it's up. Can't nobody protect you. They finna go in and get busy now. And if, like they told them, you get in the way, homie, we're gonna roll over you. And so we're gonna get to that point, but let's go here. Nah, don't do me like that. Did I clip the wrong one? Nah, I didn't. Hold up. All right, we still in Chicago. We going to LA. We going to California, and then we're gonna go to New York. Then we're gonna get into our topic.
Well, that's a good question because they have not been as specific. And so we're narrowing that down, again, coordinating with 3 other cities. As I said from the very beginning, it's why we did not make a rash decision. There were other mayors that were also being...
Yeah, he talking cash money shit, right? And he had the nerve to turn around and ask for $2 billion. He asking for the help from the government because they just spent all the money on the migrants that he said he gonna protect. It's not him. These are calls from up top saying hold the line. But see, it's dangerous because, like Jazz say, they are a minority. So automatically the other side gonna get the most votes. They have so many pieces on the board that's in place. This was strategized geniusly. It was strategized geniusly. They put their players in place, and oh man, it's gonna be hard to beat them. Let's walk. But for you to be coming out here talking about you ain't taking no threats from nobody, Chicago gonna stand on their own 10. The governor saying that Chicago is a city of grit, and they ain't going out without a fight. And Trump's side feeling like it ain't gonna be no fight. One punch knockout. Fuck you mean, nigga. I ain't finna get the fight, nigga. I got on silk socks and gators. Yeah, like I'm a Detroit player. Let's walk.
Compelled. There are a number of documents that we are now trying to centralize and organize so that we show up with what this committee is expecting. So as we continue to get a better understanding from the chair of the committee and members of the committee, which documents they wish for us to show up with, I always do my homework, right? And we will continue to do that. But here's the most important thing. We are a welcoming city for a reason, right? We fully expect the federal government to do its job. We're not going to interfere with that. And as long as we're all clear about our delineation of power as well as our responsibilities, I believe that we can move forward as a country, responding to our need for comprehensive immigration reform policy to actually take place, while also keeping our community safe, and then also making sure that those who have the power to actually do what is being asked in this moment, that they actually exercise that power and give us the room that we need as a local municipality to do our part. I believe that
you should have saved your money.
A little bit of order. I'm happy to come back, but yeah, thanks.
Should have saved your money, nigga. You talking about?
Okay, well that's helpful, so then he doesn't have to do that. Yeah, sure.
And to talk a little bit, because I don't think we've had a chance to talk to you since the Department of Justice filed suit against the city, the state, and the county. What's the city's posture?
DOGE then sued their ass.
Well, as you know, this happened before, right? And you know, the courts upheld what essentially is a very clear delineation between local municipality and our authority and what the federal government is responsible for. Our team, our corporate counsel, and our legal team will review this suit like every other suit that comes through. And as we have an even greater amount of clarity around the nature of this suit, we will proceed accordingly.
And my follow-up.
Sure.
To one of the
Man,
other
y'all don't have no
questions.
win, bro. And
Are
you
we-
letting the people
talk
put
about
y'all
people
out
who
there.
might retire.
Mhm.
All
Are
these,
there people who might
they putting all of these faces out there. You feel me? They putting them in these positions, and you gonna fuck these niggas' career politically. Like, nah, for real, you gonna fuck these people' career up. And I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you why I say that.
The same individuals who may have taken some exception to my approach to investing in the west and south sides of the city of Chicago said nothing under previous administrations when black and brown women were fired and laid off. Said nothing. There was no letter of support for black and brown women. When schools were closed, some of these individuals who have a mouthpiece now were silent during the most racist form of government that we have seen in the city of Chicago.
Nigga, my form of racism is black European bootleg colonizers. That other shit, that's not, nah, fam. Y'all working together. You know. And it's a shame that they're putting y'all out there. I saw a video earlier. A lady played a clip of Jazz saying, we're not in the business of giving money. And one of the things she said is that, honey, that interview is going to follow you through your political career. And I said, damn, I just told the family that earlier today. Now these people don't forget we're in a different era. And when we say woke, we're not talking about DEI woke. You know, it's, you know, people are seeing y'all for who y'all are. And you know, this was a real powerful move with the black European shit to break it up, to prove that the colonizer look, you know, may look like you. Let's walk.
And so the point that I'm making is that this is not about one individual. This isn't about people retiring or perhaps finding other opportunities. This is about what the people of Chicago elected me to do, which is to invest in people.
Man,
and that's what I'm going to continue.
invest you to do that.
Mayor, you talked about doing your homework. Can you talk about the clean lights you're going to expect in Washington? This is arguably the biggest stage you've sat on from a national standpoint. What kind of work are you doing ahead of time to make sure the message is crystal clear, that there's no ambiguity? If you can get us behind the closed doors of your president.
Yeah. So look, here's a good thing. That the people of Chicago will be on center stage. I'm representing the values of Chicago. And that's one thing that I don't regret. Holding to our values. You know, a city that has embraced immigrants from around the globe.
Chicago, we have some Chicagoans in here. Chicago, have y'all embraced this? Man, they was doing polls and corner stores and asking about the immigrant, the illegals being there, and they said, no, man, get them up out of here. So what you mean they embraced it, man? Y'all, first off, you ain't talk to them about it. Y'all just start dropping them off there. Putting them in big cities, and the cartels was behind them because the two twins or the two brothers that worked for El Chapo, they got busted in Chi-Town. They was operating out of Chi-Town. But anyway, let's walk.
Jewish, Chinese, Polish, Italian, from Ireland, descendants of slaves who migrated from the South built this city, the 77 unique neighborhoods, the culture, the vibrancy of our city. My preparation happened 40 years ago when Mayor Harold Washington declared us to be a sanctuary city. Somehow he knew this day would come. And it's
a bullshit. Where he at? Somebody need to get a banana and, You know, no. He ain't know this day was gonna come. Your ass gonna be out of here. Your day gonna come. Yeah, nigga, your day the one that you gonna have.
Imperative in this moment that we don't flinch or cower to the intimidating tactics that are ultimately trying to get us to disrupt our evolution of our democracy. And so, of course, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into how these measures have strengthened our economy. Right, I will dig in deeper around how we can have more substantive responses to the immigration matter that we're all faced with. Here's the last thing. I'm going to continue to show up in my very best form for working people in this city, in this country. I need Congress to do the same thing. The President of the United States of America has the Senate and the House, as well as the judicial branch of government. The urgency in this moment requires the type of leadership that can actually codify the type of transformation that we know needs to exist in this country. I would hope that they would also do their homework and spend some time figuring out how we can bring the nation together around a whole host of things. The dismantling of our Department of Justice, the dismantling of our public education system, the dismantling of the Department of the Environment. These are all real threats to working people. As the mayor of the city of Chicago, I'm going to hold firm around how we show up for working people. The work that I will do is the work that I've been doing. And that's ensuring that we are investing in working people every single day who want a more inclusive economy that works for all of us.
It's been about 3 weeks since the mass ICE raids began in Chicago and nationwide. Are the numbers where you thought they'd be? Are you surprised they're not higher than they are, given sort of the rhetoric we're hearing from Washington?
Well, those numbers have not, at least locally, there aren't any real clear sense of what those numbers are. Here are the numbers, though, that I believe that this administration could compare themselves with. During the Obama administration, there was a concerted effort to respond to these type of matters. Now, all I'm simply saying is the federal government has the authority to enact deportation policy. No one is standing in the way of that. What we're just simply saying is making local law enforcement dubbed as federal agents, where a part of their day-to-day and their job responsibility is to ask someone's immigration status. That is not American.
So you don't have a number on how many?
That number.
Fuck you mean, nigga? You don't look American. You don't look American. Dog Chief on the board first, man. Appreciate that love. Hey, man, we don't have no cash app, so y'all got to support through the super chat. Support through the super chat.
Number has not been reported to me.
You spoke earlier about personal choices that resigning leaders have made in the last week. But last week, when you were speaking to the church crowd, you talked about it as your decision. Are you saying that the resignations that occurred last week weren't related to those comments that you made?
Here's what I'm saying, is that there have been a number of people who have resigned since I've taken office. These aren't the first resignations. In fact, within the first several weeks or months in my administration, there were multiple individuals in respective departments that resigned. Here's what's most important. The people of Chicago elected me to show up for working people across this city. And that's what we're doing. Violent crime is down in Chicago. Investments are up, $20 billion of new investments. And we responded to a crisis that the federal government ignored and built a one system initiative working with the state of Illinois to actually have an increased amount of beds available for the unhoused. So whether it's housing, whether it's economic development, whether it's education, these are the commitments that I made that I would invest in. And that's what I'm doing. That's the most important thing here. Listen, if it came down to just one individual in one department, then perhaps I would carry on with this discussion. But the truth of the matter is, it's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us in every single department to ensure.
Man, you got your rabbit ass mind. It ain't going to take all of us. And if it do, you won't be here to see it. Because your ass on the way out the door. You on the way out the door. So check this out. So a lot of them trying to stand in the way, right? A lot of them talking about what they gonna do. We gonna see that. You know, a lot of them, you know, they have people put in places such as federal judges, and we're gonna see. They tried to, you know, put their people them on it in Seattle. I'll let y'all watch. Let's watch together. Let's walk. So this is about birthright citizenship. Birthright citizenship is just for 1866. So what would that have to do with anybody that came here in the past 4 years? Absolutely nothing. It really ain't got nothing to do with them YT people really on that list too. Keep it gangster and everybody else, but let's walk.
That said, when Donald Trump was sworn in for his second term 30 days ago, he signed an executive order that proclaimed that to no longer be true. This, of course, was immediately challenged in court. And among the federal courts it was laughed out of was one in Washington State. Seattle-based federal judge ruled that.
She said it was laughed out. Well, watch who got the last laugh. Let's walk.
Trump's executive order could not go into effect. The judge passed an injunction against the executive order going into effect. The Justice Department, the Trump administration then appealed that. They've appealed it to the Ninth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals, which sits on the West Coast. And tonight, a three-judge panel of the Ninth Circuit has just declined the Justice Department's request to get rid of that judge's injunction to let Trump's executive order go into effect. The reason this is important is because this sets up potentially a rocket ship, very quick trip to the United States Supreme Court. When Trump passed this executive order, he had to know that it was blatantly unconstitutional. The point of passing it anyway, of signing it anyway, was to get the Supreme Court to rule to effectively change the Constitution, to make it so that if you're born in this country.
No, they're not going to change the Constitution. No one can change the Constitution. When y'all get to court, he's going to pull out 1866 records, which are ours. And the conversation is going to have to be had that was actually a new constitution. That was one-on-one. No different in the 1866 treaty, where I kept saying there's no native, what today would be native people, there were none of them present. It had everything to do with us. This was a new constitution. This was a new deal with the real people of the land. So had nothing to do with nobody else. So when they get in there, he already told y'all what he coming with. And it's set in stone, so can't nobody move it. Even in the 1866 treaty, it's set in stone. No one can come along. So when they, when the 5 tribes from Oklahoma are going up to Washington, they have a problem. The problem is they want to get the 1866 treaty erased. And be non-void now because of a letter that was wrote in 1942. A letter was wrote saying that they can proceed to kick the Negroes out of these tribes. Now, they ran with it. But then when they had to go back to court, 1866 treaty was brought forward, which stated no one can ever come and undo this. Let's walk.
Country, you are no longer a citizen. With this ruling tonight from a 3-judge panel in the Ninth Circuit, this would appeal to be teed up for a challenge directly to the U.S. Supreme Court. One of the first matters that Trump has provoked a conflict with U.S. law and constitutional understanding about, that is going to the Supreme Court. This ruling just in moments ago from the Ninth Circuit. We'll keep you posted.
Well, look like that's going to be easy work, because what are y'all going to use? It's 6 words in the treaty they saying need to be clarified. And Trump and them already have they fight. I mean, they stance, which is gonna be us. Let's go to California, man. Let's see what's happening in California.
California is in desperate need of an honest, ethical, moral governor with integrity, whose only interest is to serve all of California.
After much speculation, that was Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco on Monday, formally declaring his candidacy for California governor in 2026.
And fresh off that campaign announcement, Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco joins us live with more. Sheriff, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your time. And I guess let's start with the basic question. We heard a little bit in that soundbite. Why are you running for governor?
Well, it was a tough decision to make to actually do it, but the why is easy. California is failing. California is failing every aspect of our state. They're failing our kids. We're failing our teachers. We're failing our parents. We're failing our business owners. We're failing law enforcement. We're failing our farmers. Everything about California, the state, the government is the worst at. I think the only thing that they're very good at is wasting money. The California dream is no longer available. It's no longer attainable, and we are seeing people flee this state like no other. And it's sad to me. My kids have to leave. My friends are leaving. My friends' kids are leaving. And it's sad that the greatest state in the country has in some places and a lot of places become a laughingstock.
Sheriff, a centerpiece of your campaign launch was the high cost of living and how Californians want leaders who, quote, do something about it. If elected, what would you do to lower prices, especially in a state where gas and eggs and other commodities are so much more expensive than in other parts of the country? Yeah,
It's very easy to see why they're more expensive than every place in the rest of the country. It's taxes and regulation, over-regulation, and those have to be removed. We have to remove the regulations that force farmers out of business because of costs. We have to remove the regulations that force our gas to be more than anywhere in the country. We have to remove the regulations that could allow us to be we could provide fuel and energy for the rest of the country. But we have regulations that prevent that. Our tax is the highest in the country. We have the least to show for it. And it simply is just a plain different direction, and one that involves common sense and reason into solving our problems and our issues.
Let's talk a little bit about crime and immigration. As sheriff, you've taken a hardline stance on crime. You were a big proponent of Prop 36, which passed last fall, that, of course, increasing penalties for certain drug and theft crimes. But what about crimes at the border? Would you maintain California's sanctuary laws, and would you cooperate with ICE as the Trump administration ramps up deportations?
Yes, if you truly sit down with a reasonable person and talk about SB 54, it has done nothing but harm our state. We've been lied to about it. We've been lied to about the reasons why we have it. And it truly harms our immigrant community because they are the ones most victimized by the criminals that prey on them. And then they're afraid to call us because they've demonized law enforcement, our government officials have, and our politicians. So they don't report the crime, and the victimization happens over and over and over again. If we do arrest a suspect, we have to let them go back into the community, and it continues that cycle of them believing we're not going to help them and us not being able to help them in some circumstances. The border, having an open border, there is no one with any type of common sense or reason would say that a border is good. You can't get into Mexico, but somehow you can get into the United States. It's a crazy situation that we've been lied to. We've been misled. They preyed on our emotions because we're good people, but common sense and reason has to prevail. And SB 54 will be completely revamped, if not repealed, especially when it comes to jails and prisons and helping ICE get these criminals out of our country.
Like it's gonna be an easy win for him. Turn up. Miss Higgins, what up, though? Chief is Envy, what up, though? In the building. Rocking the Indian way. Okay, now let's go to New York. Let's go to the NYC. Well, yeah, fam. Come on, not. Boy, they been getting Eric Hill, boy. Oh. They been on his back heels, man. Eric, they say Eric made a deal with Trump. And you know what? Trump fell out with that later today, matter of fact. But let's walk.
This is breaking news.
We enter our program with breaking news. The criminal case for Mayor Eric Adams survives. For now, I'm Dick Brennan.
And I'm Cindy Hsu. Federal Judge Dale Ho has ordered an outside attorney to argue the matter over whether the mayor's case should be dismissed. That attorney is former Solicitor General Paul Clement. The lawyers for the Department of Justice made their case before a federal judge in Manhattan earlier this week, and further explaining their motion, which claimed that the case interfered with both Adams' 2025 mayoral campaign and his ability to cooperate with President Trump's immigration crackdown.
Now, let's remind everybody, Adams was accused of accepting benefits from wealthy foreign business people and at least one Turkish government official. He pleaded not guilty to charges of bribery, conspiracy, and campaign finance violations. His trial was originally scheduled for April, but everything is changing. Joining us now is Alice Gaynor. She covers the court.
You've been a bad boy. Who you think you are, Puffy? Mayor Adams, you been a bad boy. Who you think you is, nigga? Puffy?
Cover this case very carefully. Alice, I guess this is a surprise to some people who expected perhaps a quick dismissal of the motion.
That's right. And the judge said he wasn't going to drag this on. So we were thinking there would be a decision today, but we thought there'd be a decision. Either he would rule one way or the other. However, it's still not a surprise that he went this route. And I'll tell you why. Because in court during the hearing the other day, the very last section of court, he was asking Emil Bovee, that's the U.S. Deputy Attorney General, as well as Mayor Adams' attorney, Alex Spiro, how they felt about the judge bringing in and listening to any sort of friends of the court arguing for, keeping this case going, as opposed to he was just hearing from one side the other day at the.
Now, he been charged by the Democrats. Other people around him have been picked up and they doing fair time now. So two people will be Bishop Eddie, whatever that dude name is, the pastor out of New York. Gucci, Louis, Prada, Fendi, yeah. So I can't think of his name, man. But we played the video on here. So boom. And Diddy another one. You feel me? But let's walk.
Hearing, and he was pointing out, so the Supreme Court, when there's no one to defend the other side, they will hear from someone else to make sure they're considering it all. So he said he was going to think about whether he was going to allow for someone else to come in and argue for that, side of things, to say this case should continue. You should not dismiss it. So that's not surprising. He did ask the attorneys what they thought of that. Alex Spiro, of course, they didn't want that. He thought that an outside party could have political motivations. Emil Bovee thought the motion should be resolved as soon as possible. He didn't think this was a case where any of that would help. They really wanted this done as soon as possible. But this is just on hold for the moment while he figures out how to proceed with the motion itself.
And then now it moves to Paul Clement to look into it. And he's that lawyer we were talking about, who's Solicitor General.
Former Solicitor General of the United States. He's argued over 100 cases before the U.S. Supreme Court. He was under George W. Bush, considered a conservative.
Right.
And so perhaps the message from Judge Dale Ho, who was appointed by President Biden, is, you know what, we're trying not to make this political. But Alice, as you know, covering this case, so much of it has been politics.
That's right. And I do want to point out, in the judges, we have his order right here. He said, normally courts are aided in their decision making through our system of adversarial testing, which can be particularly helpful in cases presenting unusual fact patterns or in cases of great public importance. This, of course, of great public importance. We're talking about the mayor of New York City. And it's important to point out that they're going to have a date of March 7th, I believe, to file their briefs by. There may be oral arguments. That would be March 14th. So we may not know what the judge is going to decide on this until well into March. You know, we thought maybe we'd have an answer by now, but this won't be resolved until mid-March at least.
I mean, it seems like every day something different happening
Right.
can get very confusing. So what happens next? And when does the mayor need to appear? That sort of thing.
That's right. So the mayor actually, he noted in here because.
Shout out to Coke. He say, read the American Indian Self-Determination Education Assistance Act of 75 and let's stand on business. Shout out to the homie Coke. All right, let's go here. So they mad at JD Vance because he say they trying to. I mean, same thing we've been seeing on our end. The demasculation of the man, you know, the attack on masculinity. They using DEI. And I'm running across crazy. I'm running across a lot of posts that are talking down on the people that went to the White House last night. I mean, they calling them coons, they calling them this, they calling them that. And it's like, have you been watching the news? I mean, you could have just watched this week and got so much. But this been going on for about 2 weeks now. So are you watching the news? And if you don't give it, you watch it, seen it, and you don't give a damn, you don't believe it or whatever, then fuck you. I don't know how they started hating. You know, Jack Boy, Kodak, right, he talking about they got a crackhead in the White House. Niggas be hating, you mad because you ain't there. That's all that is. Y'all seen how Joe Brown was turned up in there? That hoe was lit in my motherfucking city. Kodak, people them passing the perk side. It's a party, it's a party, it's a party. I got a whole lot of money. Count it for me. Keep bumping. It's a party, it's a party, it's a party. Hey.
It's power, but I think it's power under control. I think it's knowing who you are and not having to brag about it. I think it's being able to take what you want, but having the discipline to actually ask for it. I think it's being able to relate to women in a way where you understand what they want, but you have enough discipline and wisdom to kind of stand back and let them figure it out for themselves. I think that masculinity is a work in progress. It's not, doesn't have any one definition. When he talks about telling jokes, I'm wondering, telling jokes about what? Telling jokes about
that's what
who?
I'm wondering.
What are you talking about?
Let me play this other part of what he said, because I think it also fills out the picture of where he thinks Trump fits into this.
Play the other part.
I think this is why young men in particular are so, they're so inspired by President Trump, is because he doesn't allow the media to tell him he can't make a joke or he can't have an original thought. President Trump just says what's on his mind. That's a damn good thing, and it's a good example to set for young men in American culture.
I think you would agree that Trump also insults people in childish ways, and
they gonna kick his ass from the panel because he damn near ready to lead the Dems. He like, man, it turned up over there, man. I heard they had a whole lot of fat booty colored women, and nigga, my favorite man, I love me some chocolate. Since a kid, you can ask my mama. I always been in the chocolate. And they said he said they were twerking in there, man, and they was, oh man, he say, boy, what he say? It was a packed house. Yeah, he wanted to be there. Everybody seen Judge Joe Brown on that hoe getting down. Hey. Everybody seen Judge Joe Brown on that hoe. He thought he was back in Memphis again. Hey.
doesn't take jokes well. I mean, these are also things that Trump does. I mean, is that
Viagra and a honey pack in his coat pocket? Let's go.
I think President Trump likes to exaggerate on a lot.
Yeah, I know Joe Brown keep them honey packs on him, man. Stop it. Stop it.
Things. I mean, we've seen it all along. But you have a situation here where you look at the campaign. The young vote was huge for Donald J. Trump. It was huge.
He just keep putting it in their face. Why y'all even got him up there? Cause he just all he keep doing is bigging up Trump. He ain't, at least he ain't no hating ass nigga. She tried to tell him, yeah, you've even been critical on him. He turned around and said some good shit. Now I ain't gonna lie, man. Them young numbers skyrocketing. I heard they had the White House packed. Q Dogs was in that motherfucker. Delta was in there, man. Say, shit, how I missed it. Some told me to go. I tripped out. I will be there for next Black History Month. It ain't gonna do nothing but get bigger and bigger. Man, it ain't gonna do nothing but get bigger and bigger, man.
Huge. And what caused that? And it's what JD's talking about. A situation where did Donald Trump go? He went to the UFC fights. He had Hulk Hogan with him. I can go on and on and on. All these things. Which
he was at the Super Bowl. He was at the Steelers playoff game with the Chiefs, I think it was. Yeah, nah, he been moving, man. He was at the WNBA, man. He been doing his thing, man. Popeye, we in these streets.
brought in the young vote to Donald J.
You
Trump.
mean the young male vote, I assume.
Young male vote. I'm sorry. Yeah, young male
Trump,
vote.
to be clear, Trump.
Young male vote.
You what?
He lost him.
Yes, we made massive gains among
We have the numbers. I mean, he did better among young male voters, to Jamel's point, against Harris than he did against Biden. So that was the change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, being a man is being rugged, resilient, reliable in my mind. Okay. But I think that, and I was just saying this earlier, that, and I think John Fetterman's also echoed this point, that the left really tried to define what bro culture is and foist it upon young men. If you read Barstool Sports, you're evil. If you got a kick out of those Coors Light ads from the 90s with the cheerleaders and twins, you're a misogynist. If you do drink beers with your friends and you do tell stupid jokes or say some stupid story, you know, that you feel that way permanently. There is sort of no grace to the boys will be boys mentality. There are limits, of course, we know that. But I don't think there's been so much more less grace being shown toward what it means to be the sort of perimeter things of what it means to be a man in today's world.
Like, I don't want to speak for y'all because I'm clearly I'm a woman, but like it seems like when accountability is introduced, that's when we get this entire lecture about what it means to be a man. See, the problem with Barstool, as you mentioned, maybe it was the rape jokes. Maybe it was all those kind of things that was the thing that people were a little bit disgusted by.
Yeah.
And it seems like every time I hear somebody say cancel culture or they're not letting me be a man, I always wonder, what is it that you really want to say? What is it that you're being held back from saying that you think is so poignant that you can't say? What is the joke that is so damn funny that you need to tell people?
If you saw and I'm sure it's similar to maybe, I don't know how frequent you guys are on Instagram. But if you saw the memes that are sent around into friend groups, they're just inappropriate. You couldn't show the memes. That's what I'm talking about. And by the way,
I don't care about those kind of things. I got this idea that we're trying to limit male expression or that there is some kind of, force that's saying
y'all sucking pussy and then the nigga sucking dick. I'm just gonna go ahead on it. Let's say the real. Y'all want to suck on some pussy and y'all want to do it in everybody's face and y'all want to push it on the kids and groom them up for this shit. That's what's going on. And we're going to get to that. Trump talked about that today and he stood on big now easy.
Like, you guys can't hang out with your friends. Look, my husband, I see how they hang out. Like, I don't really care about those things. But I think what he's defining there is that it's something a little bit more nefarious, because as soon as there was a limit put on what other people wouldn't accept in terms of what certain men were saying, then all of a sudden it was like, oh, you're limiting my expression.
Well, you shouldn't bully people.
Let me
you
just,
should
just
whatever
be a jerk. That's all people are saying. Just don't be a jerk.
You could be powerful without doing that. And I think that certain people are trying to define their power by how they can treat other people and them be powerless to do anything about it.
How about you just don't joke about grabbing women by the genitalia and say that it's locker room talk? We all agree maybe that's not being
and we shouldn't joke about killing the president.
It's just so terrible. I see pictures that you fortunately don't get to see. You don't want to see them. And that is a killing field. You have young soldiers being killed, thousands a week, and we got to get it over with. It's bad for Russia, and it's bad for Ukraine, and it's bad for us on a humanitarian basis. I've had very good talks with Putin, and I've had not such good talks with Ukraine. They don't have any cards, but they play it tough. But we're not going to let this continue. This war is terrible.
Trump say they got. He said they got a weak ass hand and they trying to play it tough. You trying to bluff me. Now Trump done made it real clear to him. He said, "Listen, you owe me money, fam. You're gonna let us take control over those natural resources y'all have until all of my money paid back." Ukraine said no. He said, "Okay, well, we won't protect you." So Zelensky ran back and he's screaming to the European Unions that he need help because if they take over Ukraine, then they're going to take over Europe. And if the U.S. don't take up for them, then that's a battle that they can lose. So, Zelensky stood on that. He said, "Hey, man, once they get us, they coming for the European Union." So, last week, Europe wanted to jump in, and Trump said, "Fuck that. Nah, y'all set out World War III. Not for this whole ass nigga, and he owe me money. No, hold on. Listen. Hold on. Let me get my money first. You know, for real."
It would have never happened if I were president, but it did happen, so I got stuck with it, and the whole world is stuck with it. And right now you have a country that has its cities, they look like demolition sites. Those beautiful towers, those 1,000-year-old golden domes that were so beautiful, the most beautiful in the world, they say, they're all in smithereens. Millions of people are killed, I think far more people than anyone understands. And we have people that better get to the table, get it ended. Should have never happened. It would have never happened. But I'm delighted to welcome America's governors to the White House. You're amazing people. Even the Democrats are amazing people, some of you. And we've worked together. Actually, we work very well together. I can't think of anybody. There's one or two, that it doesn't work out so well, but that's sort of normal. But I do want to welcome you, and I want to let you know that anything I can do, I'm here. I'm here for you. And we can do a lot. I do want to say that I left a great place, North Carolina, and we're really working hard there since I've been in. For 4 weeks, we've done more than they've did in all of the period of time. And FEMA was a disaster. FEMA wasn't there. They didn't do the job. And it was a terrible, terrible situation. I've never seen anything like it. And then they actually, when they did get there, a very small group, they chose anybody with an American flag or the name Trump on the front of the house. They would sort of skip that house very nicely. And it was just a disaster. And we've done it the other way. And we're working with a very nice person that we've had good relationships. The newly elected Democrat governor, who's here, I assume, is he? Okay, thank you very much. We're working well together, very well together. And we're not using FEMA so much, but it doesn't matter as long as we get the job done. But the people are becoming very happy. So I want to thank you very much. It's a great job. But we are, and I'm of the opinion, I understand FEMA very well. We had a good situation with FEMA, but it was a very expensive thing to do. And I really believe when there's a natural disaster, a hurricane, a tornado, or whatever it may be, you're very capable people. It's called, you fix it. You take care of it yourselves. You don't have to call some faraway state and have people planed in from areas that they have no idea. They come in from Alaska to help you in Florida. They say, boy, this is hot here. This is, by the time they figure it out, everything would have been fixed. It's not a good situation. It's very expensive. You spend at least twice as much. They don't negotiate. They go out and hire local contractors, and they have no idea who they are. And I'd rather have my governor from South Carolina, Henry. I'd rather have Ron. I'd rather have from Florida. I'd rather have, if I could name just about everybody in this room, I'd rather have you do it. You'll save a lot of money. And we'll send the bills. We'll pay, I think, far less. We have to have you have a little bit of skin in the game. Otherwise, those bills will be much higher than they're supposed to be. Especially with a couple of you in this room who I know will get bills that you wouldn't believe, record setters. But so I think 75-25 with the government, the federal government paying 75, and we'll go right through to go right.
Trump still gonna make their ass pay. That nigga putting tariffs on the states. Yeah, that nigga put tariffs on the states. We'll pay 75, but y'all need some skin in the game, homie. Y'all need to do something. Something go down, instead of going to go help them people doing your fucking job, you calling not talking about come help me like I'm your daddy or something.
Through probably either go through Commerce, maybe go through Marco, because Marco's very good with money. I don't think I'm going to give him to the environmental gentleman, Lee Zeldin here, because Lee's going to say, what's this all about, huh? They gave me this too. You have found some big stuff, by the way, some big fraud. You have, as he said, this one's not even explainable. We're talking about billions of dollars. So great job, Lee. Really, it's sad, but it's a great job you've done in a very short period of time. But I think Marco or Scott or Howard, and if wherever Howard may be, we want to congratulate him. It was a great session. He got no Democrat votes. I thought he's been a Democrat all his life, and he got no Democrat votes. They all called him to apologize. And, honestly, that shouldn't be. But he got approved yesterday. But today I'm delighted to welcome America's governors to the White House. And I've known many of you for a long, long time. And this week we're forging even stronger bonds of cooperation to better serve the American people. I also want to thank the members of my cabinet who have joined us for this meeting, and they really have gone right off the bat. And I also want to thank Senator Thune, because I'm hearing we set a record on approvals, and I was screaming. I thought it was going so slowly. I think we have a record. Like that guy, he was one of the few that didn't hit me. He was after my position, but he never said anything bad about me. I said, okay, that's one checklist that we have good. It's one of the ones, but he was an amazing governor.
All right, we'll come back to this here. Let's get back to the action. All right, boom. All right, we're gonna come here with it. They caught another big fish. Pentagon, brass. Let's work. Watch this here.
Joining us now, retired U.S. Army Major General William Inyard. General, really looking forward to your take on all of this. As we're talking about these cuts to the Department of Defense, Hegseth reportedly floating a list of top military officers he's considering firing and then sharing those names with lawmakers. He says on that podcast that essentially any general or admiral involved in any DEI pushes that they need to go. So based on your experience, is this change that needs to happen?
Well, good morning, Kelly. I can't recall another instance in American history where a president has fired an entire swath of generals and admirals for perceived personal disloyalty to the administration's political goals. Now, certainly there have been instances of military leaders being fired for disagreeing with the president. Truman firing MacArthur during the Korean War comes to mind. Or likewise, firings for failure or perceived failure to accomplish the mission, such as President Lincoln's merry-go-round of commanders until he found General Grant during the Civil War. But a political purge in the American military is unheard of. And that's because the American Military Officer Corps, although generally conservative, is largely apolitical. This separation of the military from politics is only a dream in most other countries where generals regularly stage coups.
So when we talk about the politics of this, General Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, he's right now working to cut 8% of the defense budget over the next 5 years. That's $50 billion from programs that include DEI initiatives, climate change, and others. He's talked a lot about the damage he believes has been done within the Department of Defense as it relates to DEI initiatives, essentially saying that that's taken the focus away from the number one goal of keeping this country safe. So he's shading it there as this isn't political. This is really more about getting the DOD to do the job that it's set out to do. Do you agree or disagree with that assessment?
Well, I think that assessment is nonsense. It's a political talking point that's been adopted by the ultra right wing, and frankly, it's nonsense. When you look at the American military, 45% of the American military are female and people of color, and frankly, we need people to understand cultural differences. This is a big team. It's a big team, and it's interesting to me that Hegseth is showing this list of admirals and generals to be fired among Republican lawmakers. And with the disclosure of these disfavored officers, are they trying to gauge whether there may be some opposition to this drastic attack on the military hierarchy among congressional Republicans? So, the process to become.
Yeah, y'all get ready. Because they coming over there next. So y'all get ready. All right, let's get to the good shit. Trump done hit another one of their soldiers today. Let's walk. We're in the Pentagon with it.
For the show, we're following some breaking news this hour. Donald Trump has just fired General Charles Q. Brown, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the country's senior-most military official.
The country's most senior military. Boy, if you don't get up out of here. Breaking news. He done hit another one of their big targets. Cleaning house. You got to go, fam. This one hurt. They needed this position right here on the board. Like, damn near taking away, you know what I'm saying, all their power shots right now. Neutralizing them. This was a key, and then you hear the people coming out saying that he's a black man. He's doing it because he's a black man. Nah, fam. He went out, he ain't do no arguing. No. Why he ain't do no arguing? Why he ain't plead his case? Why he just dipped? Yeah, lawyer, this is what he meant about draining the swamp. He had to get a team with him, and then he got Elon with him, who doing a lot of the work for him. Got a team that's doing a lot of the work for him, and then on top of that, they got the FBI, the director of the FBI, the district attorney, and everybody on board. I'm finna let y'all meet the district attorney after this. But he just popped one of their highest members that they needed. And he looking at the Department of Defense too, because do you owe me some money?
Trump is essentially the president's top military advisor, and it usually holds over as administrations change. That's typically what happened. I mean, Joe Biden kept Trump's Joint Chiefs Chairman Mark Milley until he stepped down at the end of 2023. Donald Trump decided to buck with that tradition, and I have to say the optics here don't look great. CQ Brown was only the second black man to ever hold that position.
We don't give a fuck. When y'all start giving a fuck. So that means don't nobody give a fuck. I know y'all ain't talking about it. I know you ain't finna come out here and try to play the race card. You can rip that shit up. We not feeling none of that. Y'all don't give a damn about black folks. If y'all did, y'all would have did something for them. We don't want to hear that. Get your punk ass up and get up out of here, nigga. Now, immediately. And they was just waiting to get their hitters in place. And they in now. So the team that came together like Voltron. Everybody know what y'all need to do. And we finna run the court.
And he just got fired amid Trump's push to end programs promoting equality in the federal government. He will be replaced by retired 3-star Air Force Lieutenant General Dan Kane. Courtney Kuby is a senior NBC News correspondent covering national security and the Pentagon. Few people know more about what happens in that building than Courtney. Courtney, what we know at this point is limited amounts of reporting. There's obviously the Truth Social post from Donald Trump where he announces he's planning to nominate Air Force Lieutenant General Kane. I want to talk to you about that. But first, let me start by just asking you, what do we know about how he fired CQ Brown? Did he call him? Is there anything more we've learned about how this took place today?
Nice.
Yeah, we know nothing about that, frankly. Now, we know CQ Brown was traveling. He had a trip to the border planned for today, and then he was supposed to travel on.
Yeah, well, shit, he can cancel them plans. Or, since he down there, he can go down there to Mexico, go lay on the beach. Now, I can give him a couple restaurants that he might like. You understand me? In the strip club that he might fuck with. Now, what strip club I prefer for you is the barbershop. It's called the barbershop. So go in the barbershop, fam. All right. Go to the top. It's a back door. It's like a patio area. They got a bar out there too. But Coco Bongo is right there to the right of you. And you can see the whole stage. You can see all of the little performances and all of that. And you can see, you can watch the crowd. So nigga, go get drunk because your ass ain't got no job. Your ass ain't got no job no more. So I mean, you might well go down there and get some of that Cartel Reggie weed, nigga, and drink you and get fucked up.
On a little bit more domestically. So we know that trip went on, but beyond that, we just don't know. Look, here's the reality. We were expecting this to happen yesterday or today. So this isn't a huge surprise. We've been talking about the possibility of Lieutenant General Kane to replace the chairman. And just given the pattern of how this has been, the administration has been carrying out these sorts of things, we were all sort of expecting this to be on a Friday night. That being said, what we've gotten here are statements with no additional context to exactly what happened here. So we're still working through the details.
What more context do you need? That's one of y'all heavy hitters, fam. You think I'm not gonna move him out the way? This one of y'all secret weapons. He gotta get out the way, homie. Oh, he was going down to the border. Now he finna go run the play for y'all. Oh no, he not. You know what, man? You might well go over there, nigga, and go to Quinta del Ru and go do your thing out there on the beach, man, because your ass is fired.
This is all just breaking, and we've just gotten another statement actually from Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth laying out some additional people who were fired here as well tonight.
Well, do you have that in front of you? Do you want to share with us the details of that, or we can also pull it up?
Yeah, give us them details because they can go drink. Yeah, he got drinking buddies now. And wingmans if they want to get them some of that Yucatan pussy. They want some of that Yucatan pussy, nigga.
Up to. Please go ahead.
I do. And so, I mean, there's so much to talk through here. Okay, so several of the people who were fired, according now to Secretary Hegseth, and the way that this has been laid out, I should say, is that they are looking for people to replace these individuals. They're not actually saying they were fired, but the reality is that's what's happening here. So the Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Lisa Franchetti, why that is an important person to mention here is she was the first a woman to run the Navy, the first female chief of naval operations, and critically now both of the women who were in positions running service chiefs, that is the commandant of the U.S. Coast Guard and now the chief of naval operations, have now both been fired by President Donald Trump. Admiral Linda Fagan was fired within literally hours of Donald Trump being inaugurated, and now Lisa Franchetti. In addition to that, the Air Force Vice Chief of Staff, James Slife, also named tonight as being fired. There's no reason given for these, but the reality is General Slife has been someone who has promoted diversity issues within the Air Force, is known for that. That's candidly most likely why he was targeted. In addition to that, also several judge advocates general.
Why they say target? He in there promoting DEI. They got a slogan that they're stronger because of the diversity. That's the new hoorah in the Army. Yeah, it used to be many are called but few are chosen. Now today is yeah, now today is and then Obama put out the don't ask, don't tell. I wonder why. I wonder why.
Ads are also now set to be replaced, according to Pete Hegseth. But a little bit more on CQ Brown here. Look, we have heard from people very close to President Trump, including Secretary Hegseth. He wrote about in his book that he thought General Brown should be replaced as the chairman. We've also heard from the National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, others who have been very outspoken about this. But we had some reporting back in December that General Brown, the chairman, had a good meeting with President Trump at the Army-Navy game, and the belief was he would have a little bit of time to be in this job. At this point, there is no indication that anything has happened from the time President Trump was inaugurated until CQ Brown was relieved of his job today that was merit-based. Any reason, anything that has happened that has led to this. And all indications are that this is the long-standing gripes that President Trump and many of the people around him have had with CQ Brown that have led to this decision tonight. The reality is CQ Brown has served honorably for 4 decades in the U.S. Air Force. He has thousands of hours as a pilot, as a fighter pilot, and he has served in senior jobs, including the head of the Air Force in the Middle East, in the Asia Pacific, the Air Force Chief of Staff, selected for that job by Donald Trump, I might add, and then now as the chairman for just over a year.
Courtney.
Hey man, hell of a record. Clap it up for him. But see that January 6th incident, they have intel from a whistleblower that there were actually agents who possibly could have played a role in this. All right, so they already know who they looking for, and they knocking them out one by one, and they feel like maybe he could have had something to do with it. Don't worry about it; it's gonna come out. They said they're gonna bring that information out. Now let's go over here. Yeah, they say agents had something to do with it. Oh, Johnny, I just saw you. Boom, 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 boom. No. Okay, man, hold on. Let me get past this point, then I'm gonna go to you know what? Nah, I'll go ahead on and get this one out the way for it. All right, check them out. They crying.
Financial crisis with the express purpose of protecting
Look at Pocahontas.
consumers. It was proposed and then established by a then little-known Harvard professor named Elizabeth Warren. She was prevented by Republicans from leading the agency, which led pretty directly to her becoming a U.S. senator and the Elizabeth Warren you know today. In the last 14 years, the CFPB has recovered over $20 billion from consumers. But now, DOGE champion Elon Musk tweeted, CFPB RIP.
Oh, Elon on some drill shit. No, fam, that's equivalent to drill. You sending your ops tombstones and shit, talking about RIP? Man, that's drill shit, bro. He out here talking about he got the stendos with the switch on them. Bro, this is what drill rappers do, man. The YNs, fam. And Elon over there posting people post. He over there posting hood niggas posting everything. Yeah, he retweeting them. He reposting them. Facts. Right here you gotta you sending your ops. And then he hit them up their name, hit the RIP with the cat. Elon on some drill shit, nigga.
I'm joined now by Senator Elizabeth Warren, ranking member of the Banking Committee, who's calling on the Trump administration to, quote, remove members of Elon Musk's DOGE from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, end quote, citing the risk of Musk, quote, enriching himself at the expense of American taxpayers through DOGE's illegal efforts to dismantle the.
Good to be with you.
I don't know how many years it's been that you and I have been talking about CFPB. I think since before it started.
Yes.
I never understood then. And I don't understand now. If you want to target the government for waste, fraud, and inefficiency, why would you go after the place that actually has a record, $20 billion or more, being returned to consumers who would not have been able to get that money from predatory companies?
Well, you obviously wouldn't, because this is an agency that is the cop on the beat just to make sure people don't get cheated, and it has really delivered on that. Yep. Think about it this way, Allie, when we talk about those numbers. It has found more than $20 billion where these big banks have cheated people. And the agency didn't just say, shame on you, don't do it again. It said, you get.
It said, nigga, what my cut is. It said, what my cut is. Well, the things that y'all did, they brought it out and told us. Y'all did it. Now, if you want to come out and tell us now, it's a little too. You're a penny short, and how that motherfucker go? You're a penny short, and a minute later, so I don't know, something like that. But my game is this here, homie. Hold on now. If you know, they know they got some dirt on y'all. Y'all know y'all got some dirt on them. Why did y'all keep y'all a secret? If y'all found out that there was a play going on, what y'all do? Y'all went over there and said, put me in the game, coach. Y'all didn't come tell us about that. If y'all would have did that, maybe Trump wouldn't have been in office. But he there now, it's too late. Now you want to snitch. You want to get everybody up talking about this shit is bigger than Nino. This shit bigger than Nino.
Give that money back to the people you cheated and watched them and made them do it. Man, to me, that is government efficiency.
Now, there are a couple of things here. One is obviously you're invested in your work in the Senate and in your work through founding the CFPB in the CFPB. But there's a conflict of interest that you and Adam Schiff write about.
Yeah, a day late and $1 short. Appreciate you, Lord.
About here with Elon Musk having anything to do with the structuring or restructuring of CFPB. Why?
So here's the story. Remember how Elon Musk bought Twitter, turned it into X, and hemorrhaged buckets of money? Well, he announced, hey, he had another plan to make more money, and that is he would create something called X money. And the idea was, in the same way that X now gets all of your social media information, you would give them all your financial information and make financial transactions on this site. Now, he can do that. He can launch a financial platform. But when he does, he's going to have a cop standing right over his shoulder, just making sure that he follows the law. that he doesn't cheat people, he doesn't trick people, and he doesn't suck up all of their personal information to use it however he wants or sell it wherever he wants. One cop on the beat would be looking over Elon Musk's shoulder, and you know where that cop is going to come from. It's from the CFPB. So this looks like a really plausible.
So it's from the CFPB, right? Now, who was the ops that he just whacked out? The PFCB. That's who Elon just whacked out and put the casket on them. Drill shit. Drill politics. Yeah. So the people that they say that's gonna come on him, he like really he on some fuck. That's kind of like saying fuck 12. if that committed, that's like saying fuck 12. This nigga say for real, nigga, you better get me before I get you, nigga. Cause for real. You better get me before I get you, cause
plausible business plan. If you're a bank robber, how about if you get the chance, fire the cops before you waltz into the lobby of the bank? And Elon Musk appears to have decided he will sideline the financial cops before he decides to launch his own personal platform. That is why Elon Musk should not be allowed anywhere near the CFPB. It is a clear conflict of interest. And Senator Schiff and I are after this right now. This is fundamentally wrong for him to be doing this.
Here's the problem with all of the dismantling. In fact, it's the same thing with what Donald Trump said about Ukraine today. When systems work in the background, like our international world order or our governmental systems like CFPB, people don't know that they work. They don't necessarily get it. So how do you advance from a letter from you and Adam Schiff into creating enough of a stir that people fight back and say, you can't take these things away that actually work? Everybody wants government to be more efficient. There's no question about that.
So, you put your finger on it, and that is, you got to create the stir. People have to remember why this agency works for them. That $21 billion went back into their pockets right now. More than 6.5 million people have filed complaints with the CFPB and gotten.
And it's by 6 million people that's 150 years old that's getting Social Security out taxpayer dollars. So you want to talk? I'm glad you brought that number up. So that's about it here. That's it, man. They're not trying to hear none of that. And here go another one. We're gonna introduce another one of the people on his squad. And let me tell you how square business she is. This is what type of time she on. Hey, we missing 100 likes, fam. Let's get the likes up. Man, we supposed to have at least 500. There was 2,000 people watched the show. When we got out, we supposed to have 500. We only have 400 likes. That ain't cool. Get the likes up. So check it out. And we pulling the double header, man. Show some love in the super chat. And hit the like button. Share the video out. She on demon time. Check out.
DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now.
Huh? Ooh. They gonna drop the Diddy flowers too. Malcolm X family are right now calling today are calling for the release of the Malcolm X files. So they're calling for that right now. And someone like Trump, I think Trump will do it if they can, just so he can honor the family and all of that and put it in their face. What she say? Them files sitting on her desk. Now Elon Musk said people like Bill Gates, he named another guy. So Billy G and this other dude, right? He said these people are worried that if Trump get in office, then those files are gonna be released. So they asked him, well, is it true? He said, yeah. So now
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we'll check back with you.
All right. Now, hold on. Let's walk. Let's bring Bundy up. This her today. Let's walk. She talking that talk too. She talking that talk like she ready to fade anything get in her way. So they on the mission, and they have a lot of momentum, and they have a lot of confidence. And the more and more they hit, they spin the block. They come back the next day. And they see what they ops doing, and they ops are not looking good. They out here singing songs and church hymns, Negro church hymns, and they getting to it. So now they done got their other piece to the board there, director of the FBI. Oh, it is up. It is up. Now let's walk.
Attorney General Pam Bondi. Can I still call you Pam, or do I have to call you General Bondi?
You better call me Pam. We've known each other for way too long.
We certainly have. So yesterday, when you were doing CPAC, along with Senator Ted Cruz, you said that what you found at the Department of Justice was worse than you thought that it could possibly be.
Worse than what you found was worse than you could possibly be. It can possibly be. Let's walk.
Let me ask you, what was worse? What surprised you? And the bigger question, can you fix it?
Well, we're going to fix it. That's the directive from Donald Trump. We will fix it. I always thought that the worst part was within the FBI, John, but it's throughout the Justice Department. It's throughout the administration. I mean, look even at what Elon Musk has been uncovering with all the different departments, USAID, Treasury, everything. I've been working with all my counterparts. I mean, the fraud, the waste, the abuse. Lee Zeldin at EPA and I have been talking constantly, and we're going to have some very big news on that soon, what we're going to do to help EPA. But even within the departments, yesterday, we got rid of the Jack Smith team. That was a given, the ultimate weaponization of the government. But we also, yesterday, I fired the general counsel from.
They hit an old team. Niggas who been in play for a little minute. They ain't just popped the head, nigga. They popped the team. What she say? That was a given. Y'all was on the list. I'm telling you, bro, they got a list for Tom down on the border. The borders are. They got a list. They got a list for, man, they got a list on everything, and everything, man, is laid out, the play laid out. Telling, popped them today, came hit the boy at the Pentagon, 40 years, decorated, soldier to the game, nigga, out of here, that shit over with.
That was a given, the ultimate weaponization of the constantly, and we're going to have some very big news on that soon, what we're going to do to help EPA. But even within the departments, yesterday, we got rid of the Jack Smith team. That was a given, the ultimate weaponization of the government. But we also, yesterday, I fired the general counsel from ATF. These people were targeting gun owners. Not going to happen under this administration.
They was targeting gun owners. You shouldn't have an AR-15. Remember Joey B was about to fight old boy and them at the warehouse because he ain't know how to say AR-15. And the dude disrespected him. Joey B say, we got to get down, nigga. Ain't no who and me, nigga. I don't know what you think this was. But nigga, you trying to play me? We gotta get down. Fuck that, nigga. I need my one. Yeah, Joey B said, I need my one, nigga. Don't ever disrespect me, nigga. We got to get on.
And so we're looking to hire really great people. Sitting on my desk right now are all the list of the names of the U.S. attorneys who we're going to bring in. So are we going to fix it? Absolutely. Is it going to take a while? Not as long as people think.
Great to have you here today. I'll stick with Madam Attorney General. It's great to have you back on the program. If I may just ask you, what have you been able to see since you've taken the reins there that has perhaps altered or prioritized some of your initial goals out of the gate here?
Well, you know what really altered? Of course, we want to take it back to its prime.
Hold on right now, Attorney General. Hold up. I want to refresh the people's mind. Nah, this nigga was a mob boss, man. He was a mob boss. Check him out. Cause we can do this shit right now for real, nigga. I got time today. Don't ever disrespect me, nigga. I don't give a fuck where I'm at, nigga. Y'all gonna have to jump me, nigga. I'm taking off for real. Don't ever disrespect me, boy. Nah, look at him. He getting off. He told that nigga, fuck you. Oh, you don't believe me? Read the title. Joe Biden tells worker. Oh, he told him you full of shit and turned up on him. Called him out. Called kind of bitches and hoes. Yeah. Told that nigga you full of shit, nigga. I'll slap you. Nah, nigga, we gotta get down, nigga. You disrespected me. Watch him. Check him out. Watch it. Look how they looking. Look at this nigga right here.
Support the Second Amendment. Second Amendment, just like right now, if you're on fire, that's not free speech. From the very beginning, I have a shotgun, I have a 20 gauge, 12 gauge, my son's hunt. Guess what? You're not allowed to own anyway. I'm not taking your gun away at all. You need 100 rounds? No. I did not say that. That's not. I did.
Nigga, I said I didn't say it. Nigga said I said it again, nigga, and we finna go up. Oh boy, got real close and put that camera in his face. Nigga telling I put the camera down, nigga, and let's get down, nigga. Y'all trying to get the laws out here.
Not say that. It's a viral video like the other ones you're putting out that they're simply alive. Oh, he just clarified it.
Wait. Look like he flinched at him. Look.
Wait. Take the AR. Wait. Take the AR. Oh, he just clarified it. Wait. Take the AR. The AR-14s.
He said, don't tell me no shit like that. We can go outside. Listen to him. Joey B just told that nigga we can go outside. I swear, watch this here. Listen to him. Yeah, don't say no shit like that, nigga. We can go outside. I told that nigga think he a gangster, bro. Man, say, bro, he think he got something. You gonna have to punch him down, man. You gotta take off on him. And you know, we gotta get that. Told that nigga, we gonna say that shit again, nigga. We gonna take it outside. Woo!
There's a lot of guys wanted, man. I'm not worried. Give me a break, man. Hey, look, here's the deal. I said, are you able on one? That's right. So AR-15s will leave. No, it's not. Yeah, you need 100 rounds. You need 100 rounds in America. Why are you advocating for a call rifle?
He trying to get in range. Why he mugging him like that? He out of eye with it. He trying to get in range. He said, get that nigga wallet and take his ID and give him his wallet back. Go find that hoe ass nigga. Nigga, I need my nigga. We gotta get down, nigga. You look at these cameras in here. Man, go take his wallet and get his ID out there. Bring me his ID. We gotta get down. Fuck that, nigga. Nigga, don't ever disrespect me, nigga. So this Trump, the lady that's supposed to let Eric Adams, mayor of New York, she took some of his power, whatever that means, some of his mayoral powers. Well, her and Trump beefing right now. You know, Trump turned up with a few people today. You know, he had all the governors there and he telling them to play. Look, this how it's gonna go. Some of them fit in, some of them not. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them not. And Trump checking shit in there, standing on business. But this is one, him talking on old girl that's over Eric Adams' case.
It's totally weaponized. The courts are weaponized, and they're horrible. And I had the best cases nobody could even believe. Every single one of the pundits, from McCarthy to Turley to Greg Jarrett to Dershowitz, said they had no case against me whatsoever. It shouldn't be brought. And you can't win in New York. You get these judges that you can't win. The whole thing is a rigged, horrible system, and it's crooked and corrupt. And they put this congestion pricing on, and it would have destroyed the city even further. You would have had no business left in Manhattan. Numbers were way down. They need business. They need people to go in. They basically, it's like putting up a wall. People weren't going to go in. Everybody was going to lose their jobs. Really, it's a very sinister place. What's taken place in New York over the last 8 years or so, it's a very, very sinister place.
And Mayor Adams is finding that out right now.
With de Blasio a little bit, but it's gone on and on and on, and it just gets worse and worse, nastier and nastier. And they got to do something about the court system in New York. It is a rigged system. It's a horrible system. I had 3 judges. They were totally dishonest judges. They were the most dishonest judges. Look, I've been around. I've been to many courts. And I will tell you, these are the most dishonest group of judges I've ever had. I've never seen anything like it.
I think Mayor Adams would agree with you.
It's a very corrupt place. And now on top of everything, what they want to do, and people are leaving. Businesses are leaving in record numbers, and people are leaving. And I'll tell you, Brian, it's really a shame to see such a great place go so bad. And now they put this horrible payment that you have to have for the privilege of going to a place that's not doing very well. It's a loser, and I give my secretary a great.
He say New York is a loser. He say New York is a mess, and they got the nerve to tax you to be there. You're taxing the people to be in a horrible place. The nerve of you to sit here and think you gonna tax somebody off the name, off the backs of when somebody else made it great, made it historical. You trying to profitize off the name. Trump say you're making people pay more to stay in a place that's not good. Let's walk.
Literally, a great applause for what he did.
All right, Ted, that was Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. So, Mr. President, right now, the market dropped a little because Kmart or Walmart is not forecasting growth in revenues, and they look at inflation. Inflation is stubborn. You inherited it. When does it become your economy? When is it a Trump economy where we get to see if your plans are working?
Well, it takes a period of 6 months to a year. Biden really screwed up our country. He really screwed it up badly. If you look at the deficits we have with other countries, that should have been taken care of, Brian. We have a deficit with China of over $1 trillion, $1 trillion. And so it takes a period of time. We're going to have a very strong country. It's going to take a little while to get it back, just like inflation. I gave him almost no inflation, 1.2%, which is perfect. And It went up to 9.9%. Went to, I think, the worst inflation in the history of our country. But I gave him no inflation, a powerful, great economy. And he screwed it up with two ways. He spent too much, and Mitch McConnell shouldn't have approved all that stuff. Mitch McConnell did a very poor job, very poor job. He shouldn't have approved a lot of the stuff. He approved it. It was like, I said, what does he have on Mitch McConnell? It was just so sad to see that. But I gave him, and
Boy, they don't like that. Trump ain't no politician. He in that hoe talking like he in the game. Mitch McConnell stamped all of that and passed it through. What kind of dirt he got on Mitch McConnell? Shit, what kind of dirt he got on you, fam? Yeah, everything going through. Ain't not one. You ain't gonna stop one. Everything going through. What he got on you? What you done? Shit. What you done? And don't tell me something strange for a piece of change, because I don't put it past you.
They've done to this, what they've done to this country is just incredible. Between the open borders and prisoners pouring in and mental patients and everything else pouring in. And it's not easy to get them. You know, they're looking all over the place. They have searches all over the place. But, you know, these are professionals at escaping. And Tom Homan is doing an unbelievable job. And Christie, unbelievable job. But
so what,
they really made a mess of things in foreign policy and in local policy. They have made a mess of this country. But it'll be straightened out. I would say in 12 months, we're going to have a whole different country.
All right. So yesterday, it just happened, actually. They voted through the night that a vote-a-rama, and the GOP, the Republican-led Senate, just passed one of two bills. So this was adopted. It's a 52-48, and they're going to get financing for defense and financing for the border, but they didn't re-up on your tax reform. You said this is what Senator Thune told me yesterday about what he's trying to do, because now you want one bill and he's giving you two, cut four. What would that one bill consist of? And what would the second bill consist of? And why not just do one?
Well, I think I'm game, and if the House can execute on getting one done, more power to them. I think at the moment, what we're trying to do is preserve optionality for the president. The president has, campaigned on and said his number one priority is securing the border, and this bill that we're doing today is heavily focused on giving the president the resources he needs to secure the border.
So your thought about the one bill that passed?
Yeah, look. The Republicans mean very well, everybody, but I think Rand Paul voted against it. Is that right?
Yeah.
Did I hear that? Oh boy, it never ends with these guys. They have to go and grandstand. But I was very honored by the bill that he did.
Check him out. Yeah, I heard he got done. Did he? Yeah, he debriefed too. Oh, boy, you can't. I just seen the nigga the other day, and he talking about I'm fucking with John Right. These niggas here, man. Backdoor orders. You feel me? Trying to line me up, man. Cause last time I seen him, he said he ain't on that. He ain't got nothing to do with that. And he ride with me, want to work with me. And so I heard that. Okay, so he did do it. Boy, these niggas here, man.
I think John Thune is doing a fantastic job, but it gives you optionality, Brian. We want one big, beautiful bill, as I say. And, that would include many other things than what we were approved yesterday. But to have what we approved yesterday is nice. And we'll see now how the House is going to do. The House is going with a one bill concept, the Senate the two. And the Senate will come along and do, if they see good progress with the House, they'd rather have everything included also. But we're going to see what the House comes up with. They're working very hard. They think they're going to get there on one bill, and then the Senate would be able to vote on the one big, beautiful bill that would include taxes and tax cuts, and really it'll be the biggest tax cuts in American history. And I would think it's very hard for even Democrats to vote against that.
So it sounds like you're almost open to two. You're still feeling like, let me see what happens, right?
As long as we get to the same point, two bills. So now what they approved yesterday is one part of it, and then they approve another part of it. You could, I guess you could make the case you could do 3. You could do for 10, as long as we get along, as long as we get them all added up and it's the same thing. And, I think.
All right, let's come over here. We got Sage. Sage used to be on ESPN. Sage still taking that pork. She taking pork.
Now, host of the Sage Steele Show podcast, former ESPN host. Welcome back to the program. I couldn't help but think, watching this at the White House today, that so many in the Black community were ostracized and ridiculed for supporting President Trump over the past 4 years. Was today vindication?
I've been asked that question a lot with the word vindication, and I hesitate to say yes because I was never doing it, for anyone else or to try to prove anything to anyone else. I was just trying to be true to myself with my own opinions and talking about experiences that somehow then became really political. What was awesome, Leland, was to look around and to see hundreds and hundreds of people who look like me, who we had conversations today. And they said, in the past, I was afraid to talk about it. People who said their mothers have disowned them, who won't talk to them because they are supporters of Donald Trump. That hits me to the core. It brought tears to my eyes. There's still a lot of work to be done. But when I saw the president walk in with Tiger Woods next to him, that's a big deal, as you know. And then to look behind me with all the hundreds of people who are excited to just have the president there to celebrate Black History Month, celebrate Americans, it was a real moment for me. I'm so excited.
I want to drill down on this a little bit more, though, because you said a lot of people have asked me that question. I'll put the ego blow that I didn't come up with anything original to ask you to the side. But why do you think that is? That's where people have gone? What are they really asking, you think?
Yeah, I do think it's a fair question. I think I've just been maybe overwhelmed with what the last even year has brought. Last 8 months, when I decided to, be a little more vocal with my support of President Trump and conservatives in America. It's because of what happened at ESPN by standing up after I was, canceled and ostracized for having conservative values and canceled by Disney, the company I had to stand up and sue. So it is a fair question. And yes, I guess there are parts of me that are like, okay.
Hold up, you sued Disney? How much they gave you?
Hey, see, I wasn't crazy. I wasn't a bad person because I was more conservative, because that's what they, meaning the machine and the left and the woke, and many of the media members, the vast majority, want you to feel. They didn't want us to feel like we felt today in that room with hundreds of people with my skin color saying, see, you aren't alone. They wanted us to feel alone, and we are not. So I guess there is some vindication there, but I just try to be so positive and not think about those losers.
Well, that's good advice, especially when they're in the past. I think my mother would have said something to me about that in high school. You said something about so woke. One person who personified woke during the last administration was Pete Buttigieg, Secretary Pete, Mayor Pete, whatever you want to call him. We noticed when we put this up on the screen a couple of weeks ago for our viewers that he deleted the pronouns out of his Twitter profile. And for so long, he, him, your Twitter pronouns was the way you proved you were virtuous and woke. Now,
leader of the woke movement. Here's the leader of he's a husband, dad, veteran, writer, proud Midwesterner, Secretary of Transportation, and former mayor of South Bend. And look at him in his boo. Him and his boo on the stroll.
He's in Michigan. He's thinking of running for Senate. Those are gone. He wasn't asked about that directly, but he was on the stage at the University of Chicago talking politics. Here's what he said about the Democratic Party.
And this is not about abandoning those values. It's about making sure we're in touch with the first principles that animate them. What do we mean when we talk about diversity? Is it caring for people's different experiences and making sure no one's mistreated because of them, which I will always fight for? Or is it making people sit through a training that looks like something out of Portlandia, which I have also experienced?
They giggle now, but they were the ones saying how important it was before. Do you think it is a sincere change of heart?
No, absolutely not. Okay. AOC did the same thing. All of a sudden, the pronouns come out of the bio. Give me a break. You have exposed yourself actually a very long time ago. And what is the old adage? You know, it's not words, it's actions. And their actions have spoken very, very loudly over the last several years. Mayor Pete. It's not even worth trying to pronounce his last name. I'm sorry. I try to be nice, but I can't with people like that who have been divisive. Didn't he talk about roadways being racist? Like, get out of here. And by the way, can people be reformed and educated further and change and evolve? Absolutely. But I also think that we should proceed with caution with Mayor Pete, with Mark Zuckerberg, with Jeff Bezos, people who were divisive and actually had a massive impact on our country and being more divisive. They were part of the problem. So yes, we welcome you. Let us help educate you now that you have apparently opened your mind to true diversity, which begins and ends with diversity of thought. But we have to proceed with caution, in my opinion, because of their track record, because of their actions.
Thanks for watching. Go to
Woo! It's getting hot in here. It's getting hot in here. It sounds like it's personal between a lot of them. And they tearing that DEI shit up. That diversity. They walking that diversity down. Let's walk.
Our monitors to the White House. Any moment now, the president is set to sit down for a lunch session with Vice President J.D. Vance. It comes just days after Vance delivered remarks in Munich to double down on Trump's desire to reduce the U.S. influence in NATO. And happening right now, President Trump speaking at the governor's working session. A number of headlines already coming out of that speech. CBS News White House reporter Willie James Inman joins us now for more on what we've heard so far. Willie, thank you for joining us again today on the stream. We expect to have those remarks fed into us shortly, but our pool reporters noted an exchange over the transgender executive order. So how many of these executive orders are seeing legal pushback so far?
Hey there, Mugo. Good to see you and be with you today. Well, before I answer that question, there's been a little bit of a back and forth there and some tense moments, according to reporters in the room. That is typically how we get the information before the live tape is fed to us live, I should say. Janet Mills essentially challenged President Trump and said she'll see him in court. We'll see you in court, rather, in terms of the president's executive order targeting transgender athletes. Now, I'll also point out that last night at a meeting with Republican governors, this meeting that's ongoing right now in the White House is amongst Democratic and Republican governors. But last night, the president essentially said that he wouldn't send any federal money to Maine, talking about the issue there when it comes to transgender athletes. I want to point out exactly what he said. He said, they are still saying we want men to play in women's sports, and I cannot believe that they're doing that. And he essentially said that he wouldn't send them any federal money when he asked if anyone from Maine was in the room. Now, this was during a meeting with Republican governors last night. And so this perhaps appears to be a little bit of the response coming from Democratic governor of Maine, Janet Mills, there in this meeting with really a bipartisan group of governors where they oftentimes will ask questions, they'll voice their concerns, everything from tariffs, the economy, and several other issues that are at play on the national stage, and that will actually play out amongst all of these states across the country. But in terms of the executive orders, the executive actions that the president has taken so far throughout his month in office, some 77 cases have been filed challenging President Trump and his executive actions, everything ranging from DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, or immigration, employment, climate, the administration itself, and of course, those LGBTQ issues, which we're talking about in this instance, Mugo.
All right, Willie James Inman, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
We're going to turn to other news and the latest on the.
All right, we going. Hold on. All right, yeah. All right, turn up on.
That this money has gone. And these are the ones that I feel I can read. There's some that are so nasty and dirty and horrible that I don't want to really read them because I assume they have television on. We have a guarantee they do. I let the press in today because we have nothing to hide, right? It's much better. They said, do you want to let the press in? I said, why not? You think Biden would do that? I don't think so. $520 million was given for a consultant to do ESG, that's environmental, social, and governance investments in Africa. $520 million, $25 million to promote biodiversity, conservation, and social responsibility behavior in the country of Colombia. $25 million, $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. They have no place in particular they were thinking of. There is no location. The money was sent out, but they have no idea where it's going. $42 million for social and behavior changes in Uganda.
Listen to him, bro. He got all of the governors in there. And he let them know what he got, what he found. He let them know if you was a part of that, there's some consequences coming down on some people. Now, I'm trying to work with y'all. If you ain't had nothing to do with that, we kind of got a, idea on who did have something to do with it. So I'm finna tell you why we doing what we doing. And I got proof. You feel me? And if you can't feel this, then your body must be numb. If you got a problem with anything about this line that I'm pushing, homie, then you got something to do with it. Let's walk.
And $10 million for Mozambique medical male circumcision. People that want to be or have to be circumcised in Mozambique. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $486 million to a consortium for elections and political process strengthening, which $22 million was for inclusive participatory political process in Moldova. And $21 million going to my friend, Prime Minister Modi in India, for voter turnout. We're giving $21 million for voter turnout in India. What about us? I want voter turnout too, Governor. $29 million to strengthen the political landscape in Bangladesh. Went to a firm that nobody ever heard of. Got $29 million. They got a check. Can you imagine? You have a little firm, you get 10,000 here, 10,000 there. And then we get $29 million from the United States government. There are two people working in that firm. Two people. I think they're very happy. They're very rich. They'll be on the cover of a very good business magazine pretty soon for being great scammers. $20 million.
Nigga, they be talking fly. But yeah, they find out 23 to a firm nobody never heard about with two people working there. Come on, somebody.
$1 for fiscal federalism and $19 million for biodiversity in Nepal, and $47 million also for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia got a lot of money. $50 million plus another $50 million for condoms for Hamas. They gave $50 million, and it worked out so well, they gave another $50 million a little bit later. Condoms, $100 million for Hamas. And we're also...
Hold on, man. $100 million for condoms. $100. for condoms. Say they liked them so much they fucked so much out of them. They liked them so much they were fucking every day. Nigga ran out of box. Needed 50 million. I apologize. 50 million more. Whew. Shit.
This last night, so Governor, you're going to be bored hearing this, but you never get bored because it's not possible to even believe it. So if you live 100 years, it's a long time, but let's assume that they had millions and millions of people living because they have like 10 million people in the Social Security living. But let's go over 100. So now you're more than 100 years old. We have 4.7 million Social Security numbers, people from the age of 100 to 109. So if you're 100 to 109, we have 4.7 million people on our Social Security rolls, right? Well, that's a lot of people. I knew one guy was 100. The great Lenny Litwin, he was a builder in Manhattan. He lived to 103. You knew him. He was one of the greatest builders. He was so happy. The reason he lived, he loved building. He'd build a building a year, right? Never had a problem. You knew Lenny Litwin, I would think, Governor, right? He was a great guy and got along with everybody. He got along with Democrats, Republicans. Everybody loved Lenny. When he died, it was a bad day for New York, I'll tell you. He was a great guy. But he lived to 103, 104 because he just loved his business. He was designing a new building at 103, and that was the end of it. He didn't quite get the design finished. But you had 3.6 million people aged 110, substantially older than good old Lenny. From 110 to 119, you have 3.6. These are the people on the rolls. Now we're looking to see whether or not they've been paid, because if they've been paid, then just using those numbers to take out the money, all the money that's paid to those people. 3.47 million people from the age of 120 to 129. 3.9 million people aged 130 to 139. 3.5 million people aged 140 years old to 149 years old. I think this is the case for Pam. I think I might give you this, Pam, just you can have it. In fact, I will. 1.3 million from age 150. There's 1.3 million people they're saying are alive and receiving Social Security. Now, that's the only thing we're checking. Are they receiving it? Because if they're receiving it, that makes it much worse. If they're not receiving it, that just makes it incompetent. They shouldn't be on the rolls. And the only thing good about this is that when we take all these people off the rolls, and we have tremendous fraud underneath, people that are 80 and 60 and 50 and everything else. But this is really incredible. 1.3 million from 150 to 159, and over 130,000 people are on the rolls of Social Security over the age of 160 years old, including 1,039 people between the ages of 220 and 229. So we have, think of that, we have 1,039 people who are 220 years old to 229. We have one person at 240 years old. And here's the beauty of them all. We have one person at 360, which is strange because the country is 250. So and they're 110 years older than the country.
Oh, that's cold. That is cold, bro. Fam, do you understand? The Dems, bro, the ones that sit at the top, a lot of them are elders. And they can't get in. The people that they put in certain positions, they getting popped one by one. So you don't even get no intel on what's going on in the circle because you ain't got nobody in the circle. And they keeping the circle small, a chosen few. You know what I'm saying? And so we got niggas older than the country That was a cold one, Trump. I would have had all of that in folders on the desk for everybody that was in there. Take that with you. Take it with you.
Here, Pam, you better take a look at this. That's much better for you than for me. Now the question is, are they getting paid? Because somebody maybe is getting paid. Yeah, I have a feeling you were. I said, what a convenient thing. This is so nice. We created this department, DOGE, and the kind of numbers are incredible. It could be $500 billion, but it could be $1 trillion. It could be even $1.5 trillion. We're going to find out. I mean, I'm actually going with Elon, and Elon is doing a really good job. And I said, who are these people that travel? We call them the Dogers. And I said, what are they? He said, they're generally young people with extremely high IQs who are very good with computers, because you have to be good with computers. So when one of these scammers talks and tries to tell them why it's perfect, they said, no, it doesn't work that way. You know, it's very hard to talk them out of something when they have you. But we're actually going to Fort Knox because I want to see, do we have the gold?
Huh?
Do we still have whatever it is, tons of gold?
Huh? Now, check it. So there's a story out there, right, about a group of a little club got together in Europe and in the US, and they end up selling the gold to them, you know, for cheap. And they started getting off some of the gold on a high number. Well, a whistleblower came out and was on a live outside of New York window. That's the story, right? That was the secretary. Boom. So they know that some people hit. And Trump the type of dude, like, they already know what happened, right? Or heard stories. So they want to check. But Trump he always want to show niggas what they was disloyal with. You know what I'm saying? He want to show them what they disloyal with. He want to meet you and know you. And you coming off as you a good guy, you a solid one, you one of the real ones. And so I want to go look, because if that's what happened, homie, you broke my heart. You know. This shit personal, bro. They're not just saying pop the dough for nothing, fam. They know some of these niggas who people them, if not them, had something, you know, could possibly have something to do with it. So let's walk.
I hope we do. Wouldn't that be disappointing? Fort Knox. You grow up hearing about Fort Knox. You can't get in. You can't even see it. Nobody sees it. You go there and the place is dry. Would that be terrible? There's another one. Maybe you should go with us to that one. But we're going to go in there pretty soon. They're going to open the doors to Fort Knox. If any governor would like to go with us, well, good. You want to go with us on that one, Ron? That could be good. Could be interesting. Can you imagine if we open it up and there's no gold? Well, I think there will be. For one reason, it's really heavy. You know, you steal or borrow gold, you got to be strong. So it's not like other things. But we're looking at everything. We have the largest deregulation campaign in history. And we are, again, I did more than anybody, but this blows it away. And for one, every time we put in a new regulation, we're not allowed to put it in unless we terminate 10 old regulations. So it's 1 in 10. We did 1 in 7 in my last administration. And the problem is some of them were put back, foolishly put back. There was no reason for them. So if you truly want a turbocharged economy, you have to do that, and you have to get rid of the regulations. I think one of the reasons before COVID, and we did a great job with COVID and it was a hell of a thing for all of us, everybody here. But some countries will actually never recover for what they went through. But we ended up giving back. When we turned over the reins, the stock market was higher than just previous to COVID coming in, which was an amazing achievement. But we were, just prior to that, I would never forget, I was sitting down with two consultants, the two great pollsters. They said, sir, this economy is so good. We're the greatest economy in the history of the world. We were doubling up China. I was also charging China hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs, which no president charged them anything, but they were killing us. But we were beating everybody. Everybody said that in 2018, China was going to overtake us as the biggest economy in the world. And by the time I got finished, we were so much bigger than China. We still are now, but another 4 years like we had just passed, you will have China being much bigger than you. There's no reason. If we have a smart president, there's no way that they should ever be able to catch us. But this pollster said to me, sir, if Abraham Lincoln and George Washington came back from the dead and they ran as president and vice president, they'd never be able to beat you. I said, thank you very much. The next day I go into my office and a group of scientists are sitting there. Sir, would like to tell you there's something very bad happening in China. There's dead bodies all over the place. And that's the first time I heard the word pandemic in a long time. And that's where it started. And you know where they were? All around the Wuhan lab. That's why from day one, I was saying they had little slits like this. You saw them from the air, from space. And they were just little slits, but they were body bags. They were black body bags all over, so many. And that's where it came from. One other thing, I just before we leave, I think you should do this. For my safety and security and for the good of our nation, you should do it anyway, regardless, even if it costs 10 times more, but it actually costs you just a tiny fraction. If you went to paper ballots and you're voting, and I would hope that every Republican would. So it costs exactly 8% of what the machines cost. These machines, they got something going. They get business. It's amazing. So paper ballots, and paper is very sophisticated today. It's called watermark. It's impossible to copy, impossible to cheat. It's actually hard to believe that a piece of paper is highly sophisticated. But it's watermark, and it's it's amazing, actually, when you see it. You can't cheat. But if you went to paper ballots and same-day voting, and if you went to voter ID, and also one other thing, you want a proof of citizenship. Those four things: proof of citizenship, voter ID, paper ballots, one-day voting. And if you went to 2-day voting or 3-day voting, but some of these states, you had 64 days. You know, California just finished up just a short while ago. They were voting a week and a half ago. They're trying to finish them up. And other states too, they were weeks after the election. I mean, if that were a close election, you'd have to wait for weeks and weeks and weeks. You got finished fast, Brian. Thank you for your help. We did very well in Georgia. It was very nice. But some of these states, if you had a close election, you wouldn't know who won. And then, once that happens, then you really never know who won. But you would save tens of millions of dollars, forgetting about right, wrong, and security, safety, our country, our Constitution, and all of this. Number one, you'd have a much safer election. Number two, everybody, you'd know the results of your election by 10 o'clock. Everybody, it's a beautiful system. It's boxes of 5,000, boom, boom. And you can go and examine each box. It's so simple and so good. I did ask Elon, because he knows more about computers than anybody I know. I said, what do you think of the voting system? He said, computers are not meant for voting. It's just not it's too many transactions taking place too quickly. It's just not, he said, honestly, and I've gone to the best people, the smartest computer minds from MIT, from others. My uncle was a professor for 41 years at MIT. and a brilliant guy, and I got to know a lot of the people up there, and they will tell you that the most secure way that you can secure the election, and probably the fastest way, because there can be very little hanky-panky, is paper ballots. Can you believe it? So I hope, Sarah, that certainly the Republican governors, but if you want to save a lot of money, you go to paper ballots. It'll cost you 8% of what the costs are now. And that's based on a good deal for machines. And then when you go through the days and weeks and months of waiting, France had mail-in ballots. Anytime you have mail-in ballots, you're going to have fraud, without question. And France had it, and they went back to paper ballots. And I saw their election, and their election was over at 9 o'clock, and their numbers came in at 10:05. And there were no complaints. They had a winner, they had a loser, 39 million votes, and it was done. We're one of the only people that has now mail-in voting, one of the only countries that has mail-in voting. Remember Jimmy Carter when he did a commission, and I think they had Scoop Jackson, they had some, at the time, big senators, and their conclusion was, if you have mail-in voting, you're going to have massive fraud. And we had it in New York with the congressional race. Remember the congressional race? It took them forever to like 6 months later, they declared, who was it, Jerry Nadler or somebody? They declared him the winner, 6 months later. But it was somebody. Oh, no, it was the woman, the congressman. I won't mention her name. But she won. But she didn't win, and it was really very sad to see that whole thing. Democrat, that was a Democrat and a Democrat. That was a primary, but they had the mail-in voting. It's just a disaster. So it's very, very expensive. If you want to save money, if you really believe that the computers work, which they don't, but if you want to save a lot of money, all you have to do is go to paper ballots, and you'll be cutting it down by millions and millions of dollars.
Superior
So
mind, what up?
America will take off like a rocket ship. You're going to see things that's so great for the governors. And Democrat governors are going to have, you're going to get the benefit of this. You're going to be opening up plants, and you're going to be, I hope we have enough people. We're going to and we want people to come into our country, by the way, I do, but they have to come in legally. So we need people in the country, but they have to come in legally. 2 weeks ago, I signed an executive order banning men from playing in women's sports. Many Democrats are fighting me on that. I hope you continue, because you'll never win.
He say Democrats fighting him on that. He say men ain't allowed to beat up women in these sports no more. They can't play. You want the nigga, you an athlete, you gonna go out there and go out there with the boys.
Paper ballots, and you'll be cutting it down by millions and millions of dollars. So America will take off like a rocket ship. You're going to see things that's so great for the governors, and Democrat governors are going to have, you're going to get the benefit of this. You're going to be opening up plants, and you're going to be, I hope we have enough people. We're going to and we want people to come into our country, by the way, I do, but they have to come in legally. So we need people in the country, but they have to come in legally. 2 weeks ago, I signed an executive order banning men from playing in women's sports. Many Democrats are fighting me on that. I hope you continue, because you'll never win another race. And it's just crazy. If you look at what happened with the boxing, if you look at what happened with the weightlifting numbers, where a record that hadn't been broken for 19 years got shattered. But, they put up an eighth of an ounce here, an eighth of an ounce there, and it's 218 pounds or whatever, a lot. And hadn't been broken in 19 years. And then guy walks up and transitioned.
Come on, Trump, man. You can't do it. Trump broke all that DEI shit. Nigga say a record. Get up under that. Get 218 out the bar. 25 reps. He said, very heavy, the girls can't do it. And record, 19 years. 19 years. And then a guy walks up. Yeah. A guy walks up and he say, "Let me get up under there." He go for 25 reps with the hoe. Record broken. And the new. Yeah, now he champion of the world. This nigga name wrote in the history books forever. Trump something else, and then a guy walks up and transition. You know them old folks, that shit ain't happening in their era. They remember a world when that type of shit ain't happening, so they ain't comfortable with that shit. Like y'all niggas, y'all tripping. You got me fucked up. I remember shout out to Unscrambled Mind. Joe Brown was over there. Nah, I'll take it back. I think he was on Dana's show when he was doing this. So they asking him to stop saying the word grapes, and it's another one. So they were trying to tell him to stop, and he was like, "I practice law such and such years. Them motherfuckers can't tell me how to talk. Fuck it, tell them let's go to court." I said, to him that shit like UFC fighting. Going to court is like getting in the ring. You know, walk.
We need people in the country, but they have to come in legally. 2 weeks ago, I signed an executive order banning men from playing in women's sports. Many Democrats are fighting me on that. I hope you continue because you'll never win another race. And it's just crazy. If you look at what happened with the boxing, if you look at what happened with the weightlifting numbers, where a record that hadn't been broken for 19 years got shattered. But, they put up an eighth of an ounce here, an eighth of an ounce there, and it's 218 pounds or whatever, a lot. And hadn't been broken in 19 years. And then guy walks up who transitioned, and he knocked out that record by about 100 pounds. That would be a record not going to be broken again in a longer. So we put a ban on it, and to protect women. I mean, the women, if you watch the Olympics, you had two transitioned people that were fighting in the women's boxing. They have women's boxing category. And if you saw that, it was brutal. What happened to the Italian woman was a really good boxer. After one punch, she said, no more. I've never been hit. It was a left. It was not even it was just a left jab. She got hit so hard, she said, I can't do it. They
say, Trump, you got to chill because they said they proved that was really a girl, Trump. So don't get in trouble, nigga. Tell them, oh, man, I seen that shit on the internet. That shit was on the internet. Yeah, don't get in trouble, nigga. Cause I heard that same thing. But I think because they end up letting her fight. She took off the team, but they brought her back on the team. I don't know if it was some DIE shit got her back on the team. I don't know. But Trump, chill out, fam. Get off that topic. You made your point. Leave that shit alone. Leave that shit on the internet, nigga. I think that's what. Somebody told me, I got this. I seen it on the internet. Yeah, I was scrolling TikTok. That shit came through my For You page. Goddamn. Amen. Let's walk.
Forced her to go out. No, go out. Go out again. You'll do it. Goes out again. Gets hit again. No. That's it. She didn't want to die, and it's crazy. But the NCAA has complied immediately. By the way, that's good. But I understand Maine. Is the Maine here, the governor of Maine?
Well, yeah, man.
Are you not going to comply with it?
Man, I'm telling you, Trump act just like 50, man. He a 50 Cent nigga, man. He already know. He just glanced over there 4-5 times. You seen he kept looking in that direction when he on the topic. He already know what she is. And so he so fly, he gonna put it in the air. You hear me? Yeah. Yeah, it's in the air now. Oh. Yeah, everybody complying. You know what I'm saying? and then you got it on the mind, they done already briefed you. Yeah, when you get in there, he said, yeah, man, I heard man ain't fucking with it. What? Man in here today? Anybody? He looking around. He didn't already looked at been looking in that direction. He turned back around. Oh, you in here? So what's up? You ain't complying? So what we doing? What's up? What's on your mind? So what's up? You ain't fucking with it? Yeah, that nigga checking shit out the top. What we doing, homie? What? Yeah, man in here. Threw it in the air. Ah, it's in the air. Yeah, I'm man, we here. So what's up? You ain't gonna comply? You ain't getting down, so what we doing? Let me know what we doing. For real.
She said, I can't do it. They forced her to go out. No, go out again. You'll do it. Goes out again, gets hit again. No, that's it. She didn't want to die. And it's crazy, but the NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is the Maine here, the governor of Maine?
Maine?
Well, are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not.
You better do it. Yeah, bitch, I've been looking for you, bitch. Yeah, for real. I've been looking for you. You better do it. I said you better do it. Bitch, I said you better do it. Yeah, we can really turn it. We can really turn this hoe up in here, nigga, and get the throwing chairs and everything. For real, because it can go down right here. What my wife at? For real, come out here and handle this. What we told, what? Yeah, for real, bitch, you better do it. Bitch, this is pimping. Bitch, you better do it. Get to it.
Immediately, by the way, that's good. But I understand Maine. Is the Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well, are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics. Every state has a responsibility to comply with Title IX.
Not he did that and kept going on into his bill. Not he proceeds to go in his bill, but yeah, I had to check that for real and let you know what time it is. Yeah, for real. I saw you over there, square business. So well, yeah, you gonna get done. Okay, well fuck it, we cutting the whole check. Yeah, you ain't getting no government funding. That's that. You comply with government federal law. We are, nigga, I am the law. See, Trump told another dude, man, he should be locked up for treason. I'm the president of the United States. He said, I'm the president of the United States. He should be locked up for treason. Like, nigga, put some respect on the president of the United States. I'm not these other niggas, fam. You ain't finna handle me like these other niggas. I'm moving like the president. Nigga, I will get you touched, fam. For real, nigga, don't play with me, nigga. I'm not playing with none of you niggas in here, fam. Nigga, I'm the president, nigga. I run this shit, nigga, and that's how this shit gonna go. Fuck what a nigga talking about, nigga. Y'all gonna put some respect in my gangster. I'll let you gonna do what you. Okay, well, bitch, we cutting the paper off. Soon as you cut that pipeline off, that money pipeline, okay, well, bitch, y'all gonna start. Yeah, I got you, fly mouth. Plant. And that's a lady that look like us. See, them people keep throwing them out there, bro. And then they're too much a small fish to play with them big fish. You know, Trump or orca whale in the ocean, homie. Yeah, orcas. You know. And they dangerous. They rule the waters. Yeah. Yeah, so, and you come in here and you a little fish, bro. Like, you know what? Well, I'm cutting our water out then. Bars.
They have an obligation, a legal obligation, and we'll be enforcing aggressively, and we're going to be protecting our citizens. We're going to protect. So just to end, this administration has been fighting for.
Appreciate you, El, to go at it in a real way.
Parents' rights.
That nigga laughing like
and universal school choice.
That nigga L. Caesar laughing like a mother. Yeah.
We want to do something that I think many people in this room want, and even if you don't, I think you do want it, but you might not be able to say it. We want to move the schools back to the states so that Iowa and South Carolina and Georgia and all these states can run your own school system. And you'll do a fantastic job, Kim. You're going to do great. I mean, I use your example because you're so much into the education, done a great job with school choice, and you'll do your school choice. That'll be the easy thing. But we want to get it back, take it away. So just some stats. So at last, it's usually we're 38, 39, or 40 out of 40. They take the 40, I guess, biggest, most important, whatever it might be, but 40 countries. And we were 38, 39, and congratulations. But 2 months ago, 3 months ago, we hit number 40. So we were last in terms of education in the world. And we were first in another category, though. We were first in cost per pupil. So we spend much more. And by the way, second wasn't even close. So you have Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, China. So there goes the big country theory, right? They have 1.4. They're rated number 5. That's a little bit scary, isn't it? But they're all. Yep.
Hey, he dropping facts on them. So whenever y'all question what I'm doing, whenever y'all want to question what I'm doing, homie, this is why I'm doing it. And I got that work to prove it.
But you can see they don't care. It's such little money compared to how much they're used to wasting. That's what's really scary. Yeah,
it's money that's taken away from
it was probably worth, but there was a message.
Freedom is priceless.
Priceless. Yeah. Probably one of the most important investments this country's ever seen. If you got to protect the First Amendment, it's not much more important than that.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of criticism, and people said, "Well, that proves he's a huge idiot." From look, he voted for whatever $44 billion, and now it's worth like 8 cents. And
it's not worth 8 cents.
But there's that. But it was essentially to buy freedom of expression.
Freeman Code,
and
PC in the building.
Yeah. Once that's gone, it's all over.
Yeah.
It's all over.
Yeah,
and the tyranny is really quick after that.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the sort of federal money going to media companies is what helps explain why the legacy media all says the same thing at the same time.
Yeah,
isn't it it's weird? Like you put them up where it's like when
they're mouthpieces for
the state.
For the state.
Yes.
And that's what we've come to know.
Yeah.
It's scary.
And I like that meme where they're, because they're always saying threat to our democracy, that threat to, but if you just replace democracy with bureaucracy, it makes a lot of sense.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Big threats to the bureaucracy.
That's exactly right. Let's talk about these DOGE dividend checks that everybody's talking about this week. And I know you tweeted out that you're gonna. Does everybody want a $5,000 check in the mail? It sounds kind of good, right? And the best part about it would be knowing where it came from. That's $5,000 that you sent them last year.
Totally. It's money that's taken away from things that are destructive to the country, and from organizations that hate you to you. That's awesome.
Does it seem? I mean, have you talked?
I mean, that's glorious. That's
the best.
The spoils of battle,
I like the spoils of battle. Elon on some drill. He playing drill politics. Man, he on some drill politics. He say that's like taking the money from the people who hate you and giving it back to you. Yeah. He on demon time, man. He posting, he tweeting gaskets, yeah. Fuck 12, yeah, nigga, want me, come get me. Yeah, that nigga popping it. Got the shades on, them hoes to turn colors. They were just black, now them hoes to turn red. He got his super glasses on.
Is there traction on that?
Yeah. So, I talked to the president. He's supportive of that, and so it sounds like that's something we're going to do.
Yep.
So as we're finding savings, that's going to translate directly to reductions in tax. So.
Yeah. I think they fired 6,000 people at the IRS today.
Yeah.
And I think Lutnick said last night that they're talking about shutting down the IRS. And I think it's fair. I think people should.
Hey, that's deep. And Trump real big on that. Because he asked the question, why are we taxing our people? And when we open the books, these other people getting rich because we're not taxing them, but they're not taking our products. They're not rocking with us how we rocking with them. And they taking advantage of us like we some type of hoes. So he say we go back to 1887, richest time in the country, and there was no income tax. So it was tears. The country was rich because if everybody want to sell to the U.S., everybody trying to hustle, get their hustle on to us with products. Cause they know we gonna get them. So he like, if we tax everybody else, then we have enough money to, you know what I'm saying, be able to give the installments and shit like this here to the people. You know what I'm saying? They trying to build this hoe up to a real powerhouse again. You know what I'm saying? Wealthy and everything. And so, that was real what Elon just said. Bring it back.
Yeah. I talked to the president. He's supportive of that, and so it sounds like that's something we're going to do.
Yep.
So as we're finding savings, that's going to translate directly to reductions in tax. So.
Yeah. I think they fired 6,000 people at the IRS today.
Yeah.
And I think Lutnick said last night that they're talking about shutting down the IRS. And I think it's fair. I think people should realize this is, the amount of money that we send Washington like $5 or $6 trillion a year. That is such an ungodly amount of money. What do they? They say like 1 trillion seconds is like 30 years or something like that. That's how much we send them, and they seem to never have enough. There must be a lot you can cut.
No, absolutely. People ask me, what's the most surprising thing that you've encountered when you go to DC, when you're in DC? And I said, well, the most surprising thing is the scale of the expenditures and actually how easy it is to, when you add caring and competence where it was absent before, you can actually save billions of dollars, sometimes in an hour.
Yeah.
It's wild.
And then they scoff at it and say, oh, a few billion here, there. The way they're talking about it, you can see they don't care. It's such little money compared to how much they're used to wasting. That's what's really scary.
Exactly. But obviously, it just shows that they really lack empathy for the average taxpayer who's working hard, paying taxes, and then they say, oh, $1 million doesn't matter. I'm like, I think it matters a lot, people. So what are you talking about?
I'd like to have it. Let me ask you a question. know the president fairly well, watched him survive 2 assassination attempts. The second, had
Oh,
the first
gee,
one not
I'm
happened, the
going
second
here.
one would have got him. You know,
Yeah.
it was very,
Oh,
because
see,
without
Doge.
those extra guys, they would have never seen that gun poking through the fence at the golf course. I saw the crew that you, the crew
Isn't
that
it like
you had.
mind blowing that this has happened? I mean, it just and what? By the way, why do we still know nothing about that guy in Butler? What's going on? But Cash is going to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, there you go.
By the way,
Huh? He said Cash gonna get to the bottom of it. Cash just got sworn in, so they turned up for the day, for the night. They got the other boy in, 51-49. And as soon as he did that, his ops spent out and got up out of there as soon as he won. Because man, they don't know what to expect.
yeah.
Confirmed just a couple hours ago, but I saw that the security detail that you had come in is enormous.
Well, it's not that enormous. Maybe it should be bigger. I don't know.
I think you could probably afford it. But I mean, how concerned are you about your safety? Dealing, I mean, you are a wanted man. Are you nervous?
So, look, I'm open to ideas for improving security. I have to tell you, I don't actually have a death wish. I think, but you know, it's not that easy. Yeah, I mean, but I have I've had even people like President Bukele from El Salvador who managed to put in prison like 100,000 murderous thugs, and he was he called me. He's like, I'm worried about your security. I'm like, you're worried about my security? I'm like, what? Okay. That's you know.
I mean, yeah. Talk about guts to do that down there. I mean,
yeah, totally.
And then survive.
I was like, how did you put all those thugs in prison without dying? Because it seems like that would have been not easy, you know.
Well, there's the president has one of his top attorneys is now investigating, I guess, Chuck Schumer for threats against SCOTUS, congressman on the Democrat side, who's saying, basically saying we're going to bring a war to you, like a fight to you. I mean, the rhetoric. You guys are screwing with things that are not supposed to be messed with. And
we're fighting the Matrix.
There's a lot
big
of
time.
people that really don't want that to happen.
Yeah, we're fighting the Matrix big time here.
Yeah.
But it has got to be done.
Yeah.
And
are you? It certainly does. What's going on with? Tell us about Fort Knox.
Yeah.
There's Kentucky. It's a military base. It's a ton of gold, tons and tons and tons of gold.
5,000 tons of gold, or
5,000
give or
tons
take,
of gold
you know?
are there in the ground and this. I mean, it's a very secure
I think
thing.
we all want to see it. You know?
I'd love to see it.
This is your gold, by the way. It's it's the public's gold.
Do you think it's not there?
I don't know. But I think
just want to see it.
Yeah, we want to go see it and just make sure somebody did spray paint some lead or something, you know?
Yeah.
Is this real gold? Fight at the bar, you know?
Didn't dent.
But I think honestly, part of this also is just let's have some fun and like I said, all this gold at Fort Knox, it's the public's gold. It's your gold. So I think you have a right to see it.
You want to take a tour?
You know, yeah. I think we should have do a tour. And then the president last night was like, I think he's in favor of it. That would be cool. And then it should be like a live tour. You can see what's going on, open the door, what's behind it.
Well, and there's,
I think I'd watch that.
Oh, are you kidding?
Yeah.
I mean, what is 5,000 tons of gold look like? How big is that? Is it the size of this?
It's got to be pretty big, you know.
It's got to be a lot of gold.
Maybe there's some other stuff in there, just walk around, I don't know, maybe they got some other stuff in there.
Are you thinking about auditing the Federal Reserve as well, which is obviously
yeah, sure.
Regulates our economy. I imagine you think the waste has got to be everywhere.
Yeah, no, waste is pretty much everywhere. People ask, how can you find waste in DC? I'm like, look, it's like being in a room, and there's target, the wall, the roofs, and the floor are all targets. So it's you're gonna close your eyes and go shoot in any direction, because you can't miss, you know. So it's pretty wild. You just push on things a little bit and you save billions of dollars, just a little bit, you know. It's wild.
It's scary, isn't it?
That's why I say it really is underrated. If you add caring and competence, how much things improve.
Yeah.
And we just find so many totally crazy things, which, we're sharing with the public. We post everything we learn, so you can see it. You know?
What do you? I mean,
and like, it's like, isn't it like it's totally wild? Like we just did like a check the database on Social Security. Like says how many alive Americans eligible for Social Security are there? And according to the database, it's over 400 million. And we're like, wait a second.
And how many are getting?
How old are they again?
Yeah.
And then like we found like one person in there is like 360 years old. I'm like, what, do they know Ben
100
Franklin or
years before the
something? I
revolution.
mean,
Yeah.
you know, America didn't exist before that time. Like, so
yeah, we were colonies.
You know, maybe it's just me, but I think it's a red flag. I don't know.
But are there indications that that there were checks going to those people or any of those people?
Well, yeah.
That's, I guess, the question, right?
I
mean, I get the Social Security Administration is dumb, but are they paying these people? Are they that dumb? I don't know.
A bunch of money is going out from the Social Security Administration, and in fact, from all entitlements programs.
$72 billion in waste in like 7 years. It's $10 billion a year.
Well, I think the
fraudulent payments.
The rough estimate from General Government Accountability Office is over $500 billion of fraud a year. 500 billion.
And how long at a time?
Per year.
Per year on Social Security?
No, on all
on all government.
On all entitlements.
All entitlements.
All entitlements. Yeah. It sort of actually makes sense when you look at the thing from a top level and say like, okay, the $7 trillion was spending by the government. What percentage do you think is fraudulent? Okay, exactly. Like a conservative estimate of the 7 trillion would be 10%. Conservative.
Probably a little higher than that, yeah.
Exactly.
Feels like a quarter out of every dollar, right?
But if the fraud's only 10% of 7 trillion, you've got $700 billion of fraud.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's like really easy to take advantage of the federal government. It's very easy. So.
Very easy. Look at COVID.
Yes.
Everybody got rich during COVID. I mean, look at all these scammers. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It looks like in terms of the COVID payments, there was something like $200 billion of COVID payment fraud taken by fraudsters out of the country.
Out of the country, yeah.
That's like I think, listen, if there's going to be fraud, it should at least be domestic.
Yeah.
So, you know. But they managed to get $200 billion out of the country. I'm like, what? Didn't we notice that?
Let me ask you, let's do immigration here for a second. You know, there's this move now that Trump's latest thing is that he's going to cut funding, any kind of money that ends up in the hands of illegal immigrants. So if you're funding these sanctuary cities and states, that's how they thrive, right? They're paying for these hotels. That's all federal money. If you got a hotel in your city, in New York, you got all these hotels full of migrants. That's not state money. That's the feds are covering that. He's going to cut all that. It's really hard to deport 15 million people. And it seems like the move now is, let's see if we, especially at the rate that we're going, it seems like the move now is, let's make it so that they leave on their own. If there's no longer a dole system for them, if they can't get their hands on hotel rooms and money, they're going to go back, especially if there's no work.
Well, I think it's really important for people to understand that the Biden administration sent any possible money that they could if there was money they could send to facilitate and amplify illegal immigration, they sent it. Okay, they took money from FEMA meant for helping Americans in distress and sent that money to luxury hotels for illegal immigrants in New York. That is an outrage. They actually did that. And not only that, even after the president signed an executive order saying it has to stop, the FEMA, the sort of whatever deep state bureaucrats still pressed send on $80 million last week to go to the Roosevelt Hotel in New York and other places last week. And now they're mad that it got stopped, and they're like trying to sue to have it be restored. It's like the gumption is
You think they're creating a new voter class? Would you think that was the goal when they opened up the borders for 4 years? Create a new voter class, get them citizenship, get them in, green cards, vote.
A lot of these things, like you don't actually have to assume some grand conspiracy. You just need to look at basic incentives.
Benefits.
So if the incentives, fundamentally, if the probability that an illegal is going to vote Democrat at some point, whether it's cheating, but eventually they can become citizens. But if the probability is like 80, 90%, just look at California, which is supermajority Dem. And then the incentive is to maximize the number of illegals in the country. That is why the Biden administration was pushing to get in as many illegals as possible and spend every dollar possible to get as many, because every one of them is a customer, every one is a voter.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing was a giant voter importation scam.
Pretty obvious.
Very obvious.
Yeah.
And then moreover, then they actually created the CVP1 Border Act thing, where they were, which is like where they would literally fly people in. It's not like like at the point at which people are being flown in at your expense,
sending planes,
building a
pick people
wall
up,
doesn't
fly
matter.
them over the border.
Yeah, they're literally flying them in.
No other country in the world would do something like this. Nobody is this stupid.
Yeah, and then we found that it was like $100 million contract given to some guy in London, actually, oddly enough, for the CVP1 app. So they're flying illegals into the swing states.
Yeah.
And if you've got like a margin of victory of maybe 20,000 people, and you fly 200,000 illegals into that state, it's not going to be a swing state for long.
Change the numbers eventually. Maybe in 4 or 8 years.
Hey, listen, and this is the conversation, you feel me, that was being had. I had this conversation with Judge Joe Brown. You know, because, you know, just understanding history and understanding that the Dems, the blue team since the 1800s used a tactic called controlled migrations, where they would migrate into places for having the numbers and able to compete and to, you know, do the same thing that basically they trying to do right now, that Musk is talking about right now, the reason why they did the open borders. They taking them into swing states and shit. You know, taking them to areas where they want to turn them blue. And so that play to have you know, now you need a whole new play now, whole new way now.
You're talking about
It's just a matter of time.
It's a long game.
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
So it might take like a year for an asylum seeker or something to get a green card, and then 5 years for the citizenship. It's an investment that is guaranteed to pay off.
Yeah.
Just a question of when.
They all remember who brought them in and who left them here.
Exactly.
I want to go back. I want to talk about Biden.
This is a big deal. Like I think a lot of people don't quite appreciate that this was an actual, real scam at scale to tilt the scales of democracy in America.
It's treason.
Treason.
One more Biden question. I remember when they would do the electric car stuff, they would always try to box you out, even though you have the only electric car anybody wants. You said, I think this week, that you think that Biden left these astronauts up in space because he didn't want to give you an opportunity to save them, make NASA look bad, make the private sector look better, make you look good. You believe that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, of course.
I kind of agree. Why would he want to let you help them come down when you're supporting the president?
No, I mean, the Biden administration was attacking me next level. I mean, the Department of Justice, or Injustice under the Biden administration, I mean, they were suing SpaceX. They're suing SpaceX for not hiring asylum seekers. And we're like, but it's actually illegal for us to hire asylum seekers because rocket technology is covered under ITAR rules, which means it's an advanced weapons technology.
Yeah.
And so we can only hire permanent residents or or citizens.
Right.
Like, so we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. We sort of like, so how can they sue us for not hiring asylum seekers when it's actually illegal for us to do so? But nonetheless, there was a big Department of Justice or Injustice case about this against SpaceX. So obviously it was an antagonistic situation. And those astronauts were supposed to be up there for 8 days, and now they're up there for 8 months. Does that make any sense? And we obviously could have brought them back sooner, but they didn't want anyone who supported President Trump to look good, basically.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
A lot of them are saying right now that the reason that you want to get into Social Security, that you want to get into all of these into Treasury and things like that, is that you're looking for personal information and you're trying to make more money.
Yeah.
I've never met anybody as rich as you that cared less about money in my life. Every time I hear a story about you, you're sleeping on a couch of some other guy in a city that you could buy the entire thing.
Yeah,
I don't think you care about money, do you?
No, actually, I mean, listen, like if I steal some Social Security, I can finally buy nice things.
Yeah.
You know?
And on that same question, they're also talking about you guys are going to end Social Security, you're going to end Medicare, you're going to end these things. I don't imagine that conversation has been had with the president, and that's the plan.
No, in fact, the actions that we're taking with the support of the president and the support of the agencies is what will save Medicare, what will save Social Security.
Yeah.
And it's because if the country goes insolvent, if all the money is just spent on paying interest on debt, there's no money left for anything.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I'm doing this, is because I was looking at the big picture here, and it's like, man, our debt's getting out of control. The interest payments, the interest on the national debt now exceeds the entire Defense Department budget.
$1 trillion a year in interest, just to carry the money that we owe is $1 trillion a year.
Yes.
That is unbelievable.
And rising rapidly. So like, I mean, a country's no different from a person. Country overspends, country goes bankrupt. Same as a person who overspends goes bankrupt. So it's not like optional to solve these things. It's essential. So
we're going to go bankrupt.
Yes,
we are. Couple minutes left here. Russia. There's a huge push from the
yeah. People are like sometimes like
to end this war.
Say like, you know, I'm a bought asset of Putin.
Yeah.
I'm like, he can't afford me.
Yeah. I think you're worth more than Russia.
Think about it.
I like that. So you're trying to end a war. It's all. Ending a war always means you have to compromise, you have to negotiate with an enemy or an adversary. That's just what it is. And right now, they are lambasting the president for trying a different method to a war that they haven't been able to end for 3.5 years or 3 years.
Yeah.
They're saying Trump's blaming Zelensky for the invasion. How do you process all of the negativity toward him for trying to end this war?
Well, first of all, I think we should have empathy for the people dying at the front lines. That's the most important thing. And people have been dying, you know, it's like, how many more years is this supposed to go on?
Yeah.
And imagine if that was your son, your father, you know, what are they dying for?
Yeah.
What exactly are they dying for? That line the line of engagement has barely moved for 2 years.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of people dead in trenches for what? And I'll tell you what for what. It's like for the biggest graft machine that I've ever seen in my life. That's for what. It's unreal. Like the amount of money that is being taken in graft and bribery is disgusting. And so what's actually happening is that those you know people, those poor guys are getting sent into a meat grinder for money. That's what's actually going on.
Yeah.
And it needs to stop.
And that's. It seems, I mean, Trump is so pragmatic on this. He's just looking at it and he's saying it's Ukraine, it's not our country, it's not a NATO ally. I just want to see people not dying. I want to see on both sides. Think about how so many young men have died in Ukraine that the army is starting to age out. The military is aging out. You got 40 and 50-year-old guys fighting in a war because there's nobody left that's not killed or maimed in their 20s.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. Think about how many people that is. If you're a humanitarian at all, you just got to end the war. Like, no matter what, just get it over with.
Yes, they need to stop dying. And the grift machine's got to stop, you know? So, and I think a lot of people out there don't realize, like, the president has a lot of empathy. He really cares, you know? He's a good man. So.
I got one more for you. I've been fascinated by you for a very long time.
Thanks.
I've never seen anybody that can, do so many things at the same time. I mean, you've got the rockets, you got the cars. I've always wanted to ask you, what is it like inside your mind? Like, is it just 1,000 miles an hour? I mean, are you?
Yeah.
Is it just not? I mean, does it ever stop? Do you sleep? How much do you sleep? What's? Paint us a picture of inside of the mind of a genius. Like, how do you do all this? Can you answer that question? It's not an easy question. Yeah.
I mean, my mind is a storm.
Yeah.
So, it's a storm. But I mean, let me maybe tell you something. Like, you didn't ask the question, but I think it's worth, and nonetheless, maybe just elaborating on something, which is, I grew up in South Africa, but my morality was informed by America. I read comic books, played Dungeons and Dragons, and I watched American TV shows, and it seemed like America cared about being the good guys, about doing the right thing, and that's actually pretty unusual, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like
in the world, it's very unusual.
Yeah, it's not like actually.
Most countries don't do that.
No, they don't.
No.
And so I was like, yeah, you want to be this good. You want to be on the side of good. You want to care about what's right, and yeah. So that's what I believe in. So.
All right, man. My bad for holding y'all up. It's late. Appreciate y'all coming through, pulling up, rocking out with the kids. You did. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool, man. Love y'all. Y'all already know how it go down. Big old Indian shit, man. Whole lot of Indian unity, man. Get right, man. Let's be great leaders. You feel me? Let's set examples for ones coming up behind us. You did. Stay rooted. You feel me? And what stay rooted in your truth. You did. And walk with a purpose. You did. And which is rooted in genealogy. Which enlightens the God inside of you. You dig what I mean? Give you that connection back to that and what you come from. You feel me? But shout out to everybody, wherever they are in their journey. You dig. Peace and prosperity. You know what I mean? On to y'all. You dig. But at my time, man, we gone. Yeah. Whoa.